The end of the week. New week starts tomorrow. So a lot of interesting times, right? So we've been doing some pretty hardcore topics lately, and talking a lot about very direct issues related to Trump and the war, and just kind of like I said, big time current events right now. And I thought I'd kind of dial it back just a little bit, and kind of think like, well, what's coming next? Like, what's coming after Iran, right? What's coming after Cuba if we're going to go to Cuba? What are we going to do? How does this help the average American? I wrote down a few things this morning. I didn't go crazy like I normally do, but like, what are we doing all this for? What's like the Creed song says, what's this life for? What do where are we going? Like, if are we just gonna hopscotch all over the world, right? We're just gonna be like the bellicose America? Like, is that kind of the plan? Like, how does that help you, right? If you're dealing with, high property taxes, and you're dealing with high income taxes, and you're dealing with, the high cost of steaks, and the high cost of tires, and the high cost of daycare, right? How does all this help? So I want to go through a lot of this stuff. I'm going to give us, a couple things to think about, and then I want everyone to bat it back and forth in the chat today. I want to hear what you guys think would actually help, right? We can talk about things like the Fed. We can talk about things like, supply and demand. We can talk about, like I said, economic issues that would help the average American. And we can talk about policies that would help the average American. But what is it that you guys need? Like, what is it that you think would help you to get a more affordable life? Because again, like when I grew up in America, like I said, I bought my first home when I was 21 years old. No education, made good money building furniture for private jets. And I want more people to be able to do that. What is it going to take for the average American, right, who say, goes to high school, does the 4-year college degree, comes out, where's the money, right? Where are the jobs? Where are the things that allow the average American to live the American dream, right? So where are those things? How do we get those things? And do all of these conflicts ultimately help you guys? Like, do all these conflicts ultimately help the average American be able to live the American dream, right? Buy the three bedroom house, 2 baths, have 2.5 kids, get the white picket fence, the dog, the car, the whole 9 yards. Like, what does it take to get that in America again? And how do we get back to the 1990s, right? How do we get back to the early 2000s when, it's kind of like the golden era. If you ask me, just everything was fantastic. And for some reason, we can't seem to get America to move back in that direction. And is it because high costs are just inevitability now, right? Are we not able to get back to a quality of life where the average dollar bought something, right? Or is it the Fed's fault, right? Are we just going to print money ad infinitum so that wealthy people can continue having their businesses, they can continue sending dividends to shareholders, and everything can increasingly get out of reach for everyone? Or, are we willing to take the idea of having an economic recession, right, for a year or two so that the cost of everything can come down, right? So the value of a dollar can be worth something again. Like, are we willing to take that pain? Would that be the thing that does it? Because I have my thoughts, right? I'm a tariff guy. I've been open about this, on this chat for so long. And I've told you guys many times, like, I believe tariffs are what we need as a country, not because it's going to bring the cost of goods down, but because it changes the mentality of the average person in America. It changes what makes this country what it is. And I believe that that's what we need to get back to. But, that's just me. I'm a troglodyte furniture maker. Of course, I'm going to want that, So, guys, give me a few minutes in the chat. I'll come in, I'll say hi to everyone, and we'll continue this conversation. But yeah, I'm starting to kind of wonder, like, what is Trump doing? Like, what is our president doing today? Like, what is our government doing today? If you guys seem like our government doesn't want to fix anything, they just want to support Trump, and Trump's done trying to fix things. He's just going to go over and bomb other countries because apparently that's the easy thing to do, snatch leaders and stuff like that. The hard work is here at home. And it doesn't seem like our president wants to do that work. It doesn't seem like our Congress people want to do that work. You and I, we're all doing the work, right? We got to go to work. We got to, pay the high cost for gas, the high cost for auto insurance, the high cost just for owning a vehicle, right? We got to pay all those costs and then go work a job that pays us a salary that doesn't buy what it used to buy, 15 years ago, right? Hell, it doesn't buy what it used to buy prior to COVID. Something about COVID wrecked the fabric of not only our country, but the world, guys. It really damaged what we have going on here. And I'm here to tell you guys that in my personal opinion, it's the Fed printing money, right? It's everyone being comfortable with staying home that really ruined the fiber of this country. So that's kind of how I see it. I got a couple notes here I want to read you guys. And then we'll kind of get into the chat. But that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about, like, what do we got to do? Like, are we okay with our president just jumping all over the world, deposing leaders and crushing regimes and going after drug cartels and threatening other countries? Like, are we okay with that? Is Congress okay with that? Or do we need to fix things at home? And like, what are we going to do to fix things at home? Like, I want to hear all your guys' ideas. I'm going to get in the chat. Chat gets real crazy, guys. So if you want your thing read right away, do a gift, do a super chat, do those kind of things. We'll jump into it. But otherwise, I'll try and go through the comments as quickly as I can, and we'll see if we can open up a cool dialogue about this situation. Because again, as a normie dude, I'm very frustrated with what our politicians are focusing on. I'm frustrated with what our president is focusing on. And again, all I want is for people to have what I had when I grew up, like being able to buy a home really young, getting to understand what it's like to, put in new carpet, to tear down walls, to put in cabinets, to mow the yard, to, go to the store and buy lumber and, to do all these kind of things, paint walls and, have kids, watch kids, change oil in your car with a kid, like just the fun stuff of living the American dream. A lot of work, but it's fun, and it's one of the things I think makes our country great. And I'm just not sure that the people in power are focusing on what the average American wants today, what the average American needs today in order to live the American dream. So here, let me go through a couple notes, and then let's dig into the conversation. Again, I appreciate everyone being here. My name is Eric Wilkin. I own the Resplendent Crow here in St. Louis, Missouri. We are a fine furniture boutique company. We have 8 employees. We've been in business for 10 years. And we do a low 7 figures in revenue. Nets me about $100,000, $200,000 a year, which I guess is a middle-class living anymore. It's not great money, but it's good enough. And it's a great business. People like the work. The people that work for us have worked for us for a long time. And we have a normal business here, making American products, selling things to Americans. And this is my perspective. This is what I talk about. And that's where my expertise is. It's in furniture, it's in taxes, it's in insurance, it's anything small business related, hiring people, firing people, yada, yada, yada. So some of the things I wrote down is, so after Iran, right, apparently we're going to go to Cuba. I heard we're going to go to Cuba, so great. So we go to Cuba. Let's say we do something in Cuba. Well, what happens after that, guys? Like, do you guys have you like listened to the news? Have you saw what's going on here? Apparently what happens after Cuba is that we're going to go to South America, right? We're going to start going and hopscotching from country to country. We're going to kill all the cartel people. And apparently that's going to create stability, and that's going to be good for Americans too, right? So going to Iran, good for Americans. Go to Venezuela, good for Americans. Going to Cuba, good for Americans. Then we're going to kill the cartels, good for America, right? So do you guys think that all this stuff is good for America, or are there other things that we could be doing? So maybe I'm missing something, but I'm not sure that that's what we need to be doing as a country. So that's how I kind of see it. Okay, so prior to Trump's bellicose action, costs were still elevated, right? So again, Trump's just jumping all over the place. How is this helping you guys? Like, how is this getting the cost of gas down? How is this getting the cost of insurance down? How is this making housing more affordable? How is this making food more affordable? And again, I can't find a rationale, like even long-term. Like again, we don't get a lot of oil from the Middle East anymore. I hate to tell you guys this, but we just don't, right? Most of the oil we get comes from Canada and comes from Mexico, and we actually pump 13 million of the 20 million barrels that we use here in America every day. We pump it for ourselves because of hydraulic fracturing, right? Again, another American innovation. If we go to Cuba, Cuba could give us some more labor, right? Some cheaper labor that's closer than China, which is, I guess, good. That's something, but how long is that going to take, right? Again, we've literally isolated Cuba for 50, 60 years at this point, and I don't know if it's their fault or our fault, but the point is that we have a perfectly good group of people down there that we, for whatever reason, haven't wanted to deal with. Maybe it's the Bay of Pigs. I don't know. But maybe that's a good thing. Trump's aiming for a new era of American might and power projection, right? Which might be good for America. Like, again, put it in the chat, guys. Do you know why going and hopscotching all over the world, deposing leaders and entrenching the American way, does this make countries more stable? Does this make continents more stable? Does this help trade? Does this help us buy cheap shit? Like, I don't know what exactly all this plans for. I can't figure out. I even hit up Grok. I'm asking Grok these questions. Grok doesn't really know either. Grok doesn't think it's necessarily good for Americans, but stability seems to be the big thing. So I'm gonna hope that Trump kind of has a plan here, but I'm not sure that the guy does. Okay, so how do these actions help the average American? High costs require supply increases or demand curves, right? So again, one of the things that I think we need to do, which is again not popular, nobody wants to do it, is we either need to increase supply on the things that Americans really want dramatically and quickly, or we got to curb the demand in a really uncomfortable and unpleasant way, right? And you can do that via tariffs, or you can do it via inflation, right? Tariffs, yeah, or inflation, right? So we can do the Paul Volcker method, where we go up to 20% inflation for a couple of years and crush everybody, bring the cost of cars down 50%, bring the cost of houses down 15%, because demand is actually curbed, right? We could do it via tariffs, right? Cut off the third world, make it so every American has to learn to make some shit, right? Because they can't afford to buy tons of things. We could do it that way. That would get the cost of things actually down a little bit. But I don't know, So anyway, that's all I want to say, guys. Let's open up the chat. Let's get cracking, and let's see what we can do. Like I said, I'll go through comments. I'll give you guys at least an hour, and we'll kind of bat sing around this morning. I hope you guys are having a good morning. Got my coffee here. I'm ready to go. Won on my casino app this morning. I won about $30, so I feel good about that. I've got to go to the shop this morning, and I've got to put together what I call the most beautiful desk in the world. So it takes me 2 days to put one of these desks together, with all the polishing of the brass and the bonding of the brass and the RTV of the brass and the polishing of the lacquer. So a lot of work there. Okay. All right, guys, let's get into it. Here we go. If you're in the stream, hit the like button, add a discussion, and hit the subscribe button. And again, super chats and gifts, get your comments read right away. So, all right, Constantine posted is in here. Your message was redacted. All right, Ham Sammy. The Ham Sammy man, great name. Okay, I'm gonna call you Leg Lamp Man. Yes, Leg Lamp is awesome. It's official. My mom got it for me years ago. Came in a crate. Freaking cool. It's a staple of the stream. Okay. So all right, up like Trump 24, Trump 2028. Okay, good. Everyone likes Trump. That's good. I appreciate it. Appreciate the comment there. Up like Trump 24. All right, Berkshire River Fly Fishing. Man, that's a good name. So apparently you're a fishing guy. Is that leg Italian? It's fragile. That's right. Let's see. Shit in your pants. This is Jacob Bond 4450. All right, appreciate the comment, dude. All right, Michael Millennia Business 4655. He's quite the handsome one. Yes, thank you. Okay, Anton Miller W4U. It's like the major award in the background. Classic. Hell yeah, man. And I need to get the moose mugs. I'm gonna get the moose mugs from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. When they're drinking the eggnog. So I'm gonna get those. That's a good one too. Okay, we got the Colorado Gamer in here from Chile. Yep. All right, Mark Gloria 4038. What was the point of killing Gaddafi? Yeah, and if you guys listen to what Kim Jong Il or Kim Jong, I can never figure out which one's which. But if you listen to what he said about nuclear weapons, when they asked him why he didn't want to give up his nuclear weapons, he simply said, "Well, look what they did to Gaddafi." And for those of you who don't know what happened to Gaddafi, he basically had a pole stuck up his ass when he gave up his weapons. We destabilized his country, and we've been doing this for a long time now. The entire Middle East is a version of what we did to Gaddafi in Libya. So God, shocker that nobody wants to listen to America when they're like, "No, it's going to be great. Give up your weapons." So anyway, okay. CXPR, what is your comment there? World's free speech. Well, okay, well, cool, man. I like all your emojis and great name. Okay, the third Hawkage. 148, it's because Jesus is coming soon. Overthrow state. Man, I hope Jesus comes, man. We need something. We need something. Like, I'm not a religious guy. As I get older in life, what I realize, though, is that more people need a moral compass, and whether that's Jesus or Allah or whatever, a ham sandwich, I don't care. Like, people just need a little bit of fear in the afterlife, a little bit of fear of being a degenerate, and life would be better, I think. But anyway, great comment. I appreciate it. Okay, to the real Drake 007. I think you've been in here before. Dude, a one-bedroom studio is almost $2K a month in Boston. Yeah, it's ridiculous, guys. And there's something about, like, something happened during COVID that just wrecked our economy, and it hasn't gone away. And part of me thinks that it's the printing of the $11 trillion, telling people they don't have to pay rent, telling people they don't have to pay their student loans, telling people that they're non-essential, handing out checks at the state level, handing out checks at the federal level, and it just wrecked our brains, giving people that much time off to basically just sit around and buy stuff. Like, that's really what happened, guys. Like, I don't know if you guys remember COVID the way that I remember COVID, but like, all I did, like, again, I had to work my ass off because I was essential. My business grew 3x in 1 year. I went from doing 500 pieces a year to 1,500 pieces a year, and it was insane. But at the same time, I was buying tons of stocks. I was buying tons of comic books. I was buying cars. I was buying car stuff. I was just having a blast. We bought houses. We bought, $1,000 jackets and $10,000 handbags. It was like the economy went crazy, guys. Everybody went nuts. And something about this period of time just wrecked everything. And I don't know how we get back to 2019 or 2020. I don't know what it is, so put it in the comments if you guys haven't figured it out, because I just don't know. I haven't been able to wrap my brain around exactly what it is. And the only thing that I can come up with is that we need a major recession. It sounds terrible, but that's just my thought. Okay, but yeah, prices in Boston said I ship furniture up to Massachusetts all the time. Beautiful area, by the way. Okay, making America safer, Donald Trump. Okay, cool, man. So JJJ43GV, tell me how Donald Trump is making America safer. Put it in the comments. And again, if you guys want to put a comment in, you want to say something, try and put some kind of a solution in there, right? So if you got some, just blanket statement to make, that's cool. But then back it up with another comment that says exactly what you're talking about, right? Okay, the real Drake, it's insane. Yeah, dude, man, I get it. It's it blows. See, Mark DeGloria, 4038, safe America first. Okay, again, did you guys feel like America wasn't safe 6 months ago? Did you guys feel like America wasn't safe a year ago? Like when you went to the grocery store, were you like making sure that Hezbollah wasn't around? Like were you one of these people that like before you went to work, you're checking around the house to make sure, Al Qaeda wasn't hanging around your home? Like I don't feel like that's a real thing. Like I just don't, and excuse me, but I just feel like, we've got the boogeyman around the corner all over the place, and we're supposed to justify whatever our government wants to do because the boogeyman's potentially around. Like, I'm not one of those people, man. I don't understand it. Okay, well, tell BlackRock to stop buying single-family drones. Yeah, and BlackRock's a part of it. I think Trump has the right idea when he says, we're going to get large corporations and private equity and stuff like that, large investment institutions out of buying homes. But you guys got to remember, like, that only really affects markets in big hot spots like Miami, Florida, like Atlanta, Georgia. And trust me, most of you guys aren't living there anyway. So people that have a lot of money live there. People that are, working big time jobs, going to big time universities and things like that are living there. The average person lives in the suburbs, right? So again, BlackRock's not buying homes in the suburbs. They're predominantly sticking to large population sectors like out in Los Angeles, Miami, you could even go like Dallas and Austin, Texas, the places like that. It'll help, but again, I don't think it's what America needs. Ultimately, America needs an injection of either the supply of homes, right? And we saw this in Austin. If you guys go look at the housing market in Austin before COVID and then to today. And what you'll see is that everyone flipped out in California and moved to Austin, Texas, right? And what happens is because Texas doesn't have a ton of regulation and permitting, Austin was able to expand their population by I think 30%, guys. That's an insane number. And the cost of homes almost doubled for a period of a year or two, and then it cratered, right? So Austin is actually one of the most affordable places to live in America when you look at wages. And it's because they were able to build just at a crazy scale that most people can't build it. They had tons of land and they just grew out. And I know this because my wife's brother lives down there, right? And again, we do business down there. It's a great spot. Austin is a fantastic place to be, but we need more of that in America, okay? The housing in Austin is much more affordable than in a lot of places when you couple in wages, okay? So interesting anecdote, guys. Go look that one up. But yeah, we've got to get more houses, guys. And again, Trump is a real estate guy, and when Trump said that, I don't want to get the cost of houses down, that's not good. People need to get their equity, and people need to be able to get their HELOCs, and people need to be able to use the value of their home. What he again, as a real estate guy, what he's not admitting is that the value that it's essentially boomers, guys. And again, I always lose people. I know I got a lot of old people that watch this stuff, but just hear me out on this. I'm not talking out of my ass. But what happened during COVID is that the cost of everything doubled. And everyone said, oh no, it went up 30%. Bullshit. Everything doubled, especially homes. The cost of a lot of people's homes artificially grew. It's not real value, guys. Trump knows it's not real value, but he's protecting his voter base, right? And again, his voter base, old people love to vote. No shade on that guy. Same reason he's not going to touch Social Security and he's not going to touch Medicaid, because again, he knows that his voter base is 60 and up, right? If you're one of these younger people and you kind of see what's going on, you're having a tough time, Trump is not speaking to you, But again, the boomers love the America is the modern Rome, and we love to go fuck people up, and we love to go, shoot missiles and America, rah, rah, rah. That's great. I'm the same way, but I'm not for that at the cost of the American people, right? At the average American not being able to afford a home, the average American not being able to live the way that I live. And if America was going to be better, the average American was going to have a better life because we went over to Iran, I'd be like, great, go wipe it off the map. Let's go, let's get it done, let's get back here. Cha-ching, America, right? If the idea of going down to Venezuela was going to bring the cost of living down for America, I'd be like, great, go bomb whatever, Venezuela, better for America. But that's not what's happening. and unfortunately, I think the older people, I think, are waking up a little bit, but they've got to look at different forms of media. Too many old people look at Fox News, at CNN, and are even on X at this point. And I just don't think they're getting a real robust fountain of information, so to speak. So, great comment. All right, Phoenix Realm. 200,000 isn't a lot. McDonald's workers make 40,000 on minimum wages. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like I make a ton of money, but what I do on the stream is I literally tell everyone the truth. Like, you can ask me anything about my finances, about where I live, how I run my business, how I pay my employees, how I do anything. Like, I'm an open book on these things because I think more people need to hear from people that actually do the real work in America. The experts have been wrong, guys, and the way that I know the experts have been wrong is because when I listen to Fox News talk about what small business needs, like, it's not what I need as a small business owner. When I listen to Fox News talk about how tariffs work, I actually import product from India, right? Like, I have 2 manufacturing facilities over there that make hardware, and we import that stuff back and forth. And I actually know how real tariffs work, right? When I listen to guys tell me how taxes are supposed to work, again, my parents literally in wealth management and tax planning, and again, I'm a small business owner. I have to deal with paying employees and dealing with paying taxes in every single state. I actually know how the stuff works, and I'm just realizing that the experts, they haven't been right for a long time. They're just pushing whatever's good for advertising. And unfortunately, we're almost $40 trillion in debt. So again, if the experts were correct, we wouldn't be $40 trillion in debt, So anyway, you guys don't want to hear me, try and justify how I think. Okay, let's see, TK Bomb 5294, don't listen to the news. Yeah, again, that's like, the news is just goofy. Like, you got to listen to real people and how things are affecting real people in order to kind of understand what needs to be done. And again, the experts are always telling you guys that, oh God, you're dumb, you don't have a PhD in economics. Meanwhile, the economists like Larry Summers are over in Epstein's island diddling little kids. Like, again, I don't think that you have a lot of credibility, dude. But anyway, okay, so yes, it's all good. And yes, we could also be doing other things. Okay, well, this is a see through it all. Okay, again, there's this idea of walking and chewing gum, right? American can do a lot of different things. Okay, well, I'm here to tell you guys that Trump tried to do a lot of things when he first got elected. He tried to do mass deportations. He tried to do tariffs. He tried to do the things that we really wanted. He said he's going to get the housing cost down. He's going to get the cost of energy down. He's going to get the stop the wars, right? Trump did none of that. And again, he got beaten up by the Supreme Court of the United States. He was beaten up by the third world. He's been beaten up by all these countries that he said he's going to be making deals with. The cost of energy, you guys, hasn't gone down. In fact, now it's really not going down. Trump's been a wild disappointment. Again, I voted for this guy twice. Like, I supported this guy for 10 years. I love his business acumen. I love his style. I love his, brazen kind of, carry a large stick, kind of mentality. I love it. But he's been horrible for this country, guys, and it's too bad. Actually, I feel bad for the guy. Like, I'm kind of wondering if the guy's losing it, but whatever. Okay, American Center for Donald Trump. We get this is a white girl magic. Great name, white girl. I love your name. Okay, race IQ question. Which parent's genes is said to have strongest influence on a child's intelligence, and which race scores lowest on IQ testing? Technically, who's at fault? Okay, well, again, like, I'm kind of one of these guys. People use the nature versus nurture thing. Like, I'm one of these guys that, like, if you don't have a strong family, if you don't have good role models, you're at a disadvantage, right? And that's not to say that not anyone can. Like I said, I grew up poor and somehow figured out how to make a decent middle-class living without an education. Like, I figured out how to navigate the time when everyone was supposed to go to college, and life was pretty good to me, So I think it was because I had a very strong role model in a mother. My mom always said to me she would rather die than go on welfare. Things like that, right? My mom was always working. My mom was always doing the best she could for us. And again, I always saw it as being great. Like, I didn't always have the best father figures, but the one thing I had in my father, and pay attention to this, guys, this is, again, you guys have been told a kind of a big ball of lies when it comes to father figures, at least from a male perspective, is that my father figure was a man of excess, right? He loved drugs. He loved drinking. He loved guns. He loved fighting. He loved, cutting me down as a kid, right? But what this guy also loved is he loved working. And while you could look at all the bad shit, the thing that kept me going was the work ethic, right? Like, I grew up thinking that work solved all your problems, right? You don't have enough money, go to work, right? You're mad about this or that, go to work, right? And I used that my entire life. And again, I've always worked 60, 70 hours a week, and it's normal to me. And again, I didn't do the drinking that guy did. I didn't do the drugs that guy did. I didn't beat my kids. I didn't beat my wife. I didn't do any of that stuff. But the work ethic stuck, So I think it's important that you have good role models and that you're able to use those role models to then become a better person. Now, how that helps with IQ, it's the same thing. It's all about your role models. It's all about what your environment is teaching you, right? So if you live in a shitty area with a shitty environment, it's going to be real hard. If you got a parental figure that, again, loves welfare, loves doing little, doesn't like to work a lot, blames the world for everything, I think that's how you're going to grow up, So that's not a great answer, I know, but anyway, it's a great question, White Girl Magic. I appreciate you putting that in there, and fantastic. So, all right, if you guys are in the stream, hit the like button, add the discussion. We're talking about what does America need, right? Again, we're going from country to country to country. We're bombing this country. We're snatching leaders out here. We're threatening to take over other countries, and now apparently we're going to go into Cuba, and then after Cuba, I guess we're going to go take over the drugs, we're going to do the cartels, so on and so forth. Does that help you guys with the cost of housing, right? Is that going to bring down the price of automobiles? Is that going to help you guys buy steak instead of hamburger, right? Does that mean you guys can buy Heineken instead of Bud Light? Like, does that get your wages up? What's Trump's plan? What is our government's plan? Because again, our government seems to be just kissing Trump's ass, and they've got all their noses up Trump's ass here over the war thing. Like, everyone's just as war happy as they can be. Like, they're super happy to go support Israel. They're super happy to go fight terrorists over in Iran. And again, I never wake up thinking, God damn, where is Iran? Like, oh my God, I'm looking out for Iran. Where's Hezbollah? Holy shit. Like, oh, where's the terrorists? Like, I better take my gun to work because I'm worried about the terrorists. Like, no, I ain't worried about terrorists, right? I'm worried about poor people coming and snatching me because I drive a nice car. That's what I'm worried about. Like, I'm worried about people coming in and robbing my business because they don't have job opportunities and all they know is to go fucking rob people because they don't have any money. Those are the things that I'm worried about. Like, I'm worried about the people that come below me. I'm worried about when my kids go to college, they're being indoctrinated with climate change bullshit, and they're not understanding how the real world really works. Those are things that I'm worried about. I don't know about you guys, So, okay, let's see. Mr. Hard Drive, 56. Yes, Mr. Hard Drive. Okay, Surge, 562, oil control. Yeah, and again, like, we don't get our oil from the Middle East, guys. Like, again, go research where America gets all its oil. And people can talk about the market. I get, it goes onto the market, it goes onto the market. I understand that. But if you guys notice that Trump, instead of using oil as let me rephrase that. Instead of understanding that oil is not the end-all, be-all for everything, what he's trying to do is if you guys remember this, he literally tried to tell India, like, hey, you cannot buy oil from Russia. And if you buy oil from Russia, we're going to impose a higher tariff on you, which is why my tariff went from 0.25%, which is essentially 2%, to 26% in like one day, okay? So this guy's literally trying to bully these other countries. And finally, the country of India said, you know what, Trump, get fucked because we're a sovereign country. We're going to buy oil from whoever we want. And they just ate the tariff and they started getting oil from Russia. Well, fast forward to today, and now, we got this whole thing with Iran. Oil prices are going up. Countries are starting to get really pissed off about Trump's bellicose nature. And so he's saying, oh, well, India, you can buy oil from Russia now. We'll give you a 30-day pause. It's like, what? What? Like, is this not crazy talk to you guys? So wait a minute, because you want to try and use tariffs as a tool to control every country in the world, you're just going to tell a sovereign country with 3 billion people that they can't buy oil from another country? Like, that's insane, guys. Like, and yeah, I know that America is the greatest country that's ever existed. I'm as capitalist as it gets. I'm as whatever, democratic as you can possibly be. But Jesus Christ, man, this guy is really getting high on his own supply. And this idea that you can just tell the entire world what to do because you have the greatest marketplace in the world, which I agree with, is insane. So how does that help America, guys? How does it help us when Trump says to the country of India, like, you can't buy oil from this other country? Is he trying to put pressure on Russia? Is he trying to, put Russia in a box? Like, how does that help America, guys? This isn't, 1965. We're not doing the Cold War. This isn't the 80s. Like, what the hell is going on? So anyway, it's just kind of wild to me that we're doing some of the things that we're doing. Okay, it's called draining the swamp. Okay, well, Mr. Hart, how is Trump draining the swamp? Like, I'm dying to know, because I feel like we got nothing but swamp creatures. And do you guys notice that the Democrats aren't pushing back on the Republicans anymore? Like, they're kind of all in the same, go in the same direction, right? Which is not good, guys. That's not a democracy, right? We're what's called a constitutional republic. You are supposed to have pushback from people. And if you guys look at what's going on X right now, everyone's for this war. Everyone's for all these conflicts. If you look at what the Democrats do, they're not pushing back against Trump at all. They're like, let's do it. The Republicans are like, let's do it. Everyone seems to be involved except the real world. Like, I don't know a lot of people that are for what's going on today. Like, we got a lot of problems, But again, if you go on the internet, like, is the internet controlling reality? Have you guys noticed this? Like, is the algorithm trying to push society into having the same, almost like a hive mind? It's kind of weird what's going on, guys. Like, what I see in my world is not what I see on the internet or on television. I don't know if you guys are seeing the same thing. It just seems kind of weird to me. Okay, all right, see through it all. Yes, it does. Rough now. Okay, whoa. Sorry, guys, my comments just went crazy. Let's see where we're at in the chat, guys. So we got, what do we got in here? So we got a super chat here from Euro Scott. Euro Scott, man, I appreciate it, man. This is over where, Euro Scott, I'm curious where you're at, man. It says some kind of, are you over in England, man? It's, you have to let me know what's going on here. So we are in, again, you got a flag there, are done with America and don't trust the U.S. Okay, that's one of the things that I'm wildly afraid of, guys. Like, I don't know what you guys think. Like, as Americans, I tend to think of us as being worldly people, you know, but it seems like we're pulling ourselves back and we're bullying a lot of other countries. And again, I'm sorry, Euroscott, I can't see your flag exactly. I'm not as familiar with flags. I will try and figure out exactly what flag you're talking about. But America's very worldly. Like, we like to bring up other people into this country. I mean, that's what the great things about America is. Like, we're a melting pot, and you see a lot of people pushing, you know, whatever, black people against white people, or, you know, Indian people against white people, or Hispanic people against black people, or Asian people against, you know, Jamaican people. You hear a lot of this rhetoric. I don't see a lot of this in my world. Again, I've got people from Honduras, Croatia, India, Mexico, Syria, and America at my business. We got just all kinds of people, and it's great. It works great. We all like each other. The thing that we all have in common, though, is that we all like to work, right? We all like to do a good job. We all help each other out. When you bring a person into my business, and I would say this about America as well, when you bring people into my business that don't fit within our culture, our people in my business will literally push them out. Right? They will not come into this business. They will hate life at my business because they don't work within our culture. That's kind of America. The problem is, it doesn't seem like we can push anybody out of here. You know, it's like we just let everybody in and then we're all expected to get along. And I don't believe that that's how it works either. But to what Euro Scott's saying is, America is throwing its weight around a little bit too much. And I think the reason we're throwing our weight around is because that shit ain't working here in America. The average American is not liking how things are. The average American is super pissed off with the high cost of everything, the shitty jobs, the sending all the work to the third world, to bring the third world into America. And Americans are fucking had it. Like, we are so frustrated with what is happening here. And so Trump was supposed to be the answer to a lot of that stuff, because that's what he ran on to get elected. And now that he's in office, he's given up on all those things, and he's just over there bombing countries, essentially trying to distract Americans from the real problems that we have here. And I don't know why he's doing it. I don't understand why he just can't commit to increasing the housing supply. I don't know why he can't commit, you know, to mass deportations. I don't know why he can't commit to fixing the immigration problems. I don't know why he can't commit to helping with the property tax issues, right? With helping with the budget issues that we have in America, right? He can't help with giving the corporations every fucking possible tax deduction that they can possibly want. Like, I'm a business owner. Like, I love tax deductions. I want them all. I don't want to pay any taxes, but I also understand that mega corporations that can create infinite LLCs, that can have headquarters in multiple countries, that can literally hide all their money offshores until tax policy works them and then they bring it back to America. Like, these guys can do things that are not necessarily good for America, and we can use those dollars in a more productive way. But the problem is you can't give that money to the government, guys. You've got to give that money back to the people. The people know what to do with these dollars. The people know where they want their money to go. But for some reason, he can't do these things. And it just blows my mind. So, Euro Scott, man, like I said, I appreciate the super chat as always. And again, I want to know what country, and I don't recognize that flag, but clearly you must be in Europe somewhere. So great comment. I appreciate it. Okay, let me see where guys, I'm in the chat real quick. Hold on. I'm not doing too bad. I appreciate everyone that's leaving comments, adding discussion. Okay, here we go. All right, this is a big, I guess it's supposed to be Big Mike, Big M1C, divide and conquer. Yeah, man, again, it's, yeah, when you can't get everyone together, it's a problem. And again, we all kind of agree on the things that we want here in America, I think, but we're easily distracted, right? Do you guys kind of agree with that? Does it seem like Americans are easily distracted from the things that are going on today? Because it seems like that's what's going on to me. Okay, let's see. It looks like you have a hat on when your head is on. I know. I did this last chat. So if I hang out right here, it's like I got to kill it right. There we go. Anyway, thanks guys. Hit the like button. Okay. Bro, it's not hard to be a calculus teacher. Bro, it's not hard to be a calculus teacher. Goddamn. Okay, this is ASNF 08923. Again, what do you guys use calculus for? You guys use calculus lately? Again, like I literally calculate numbers all day, every day. It's all I do. I've never used calculus, and if I have, it's been at the most elementary level possible. With the advent of AI and the advent of mobile information, literally, I talk to my phone all day long. I don't even look at the thing anymore. I don't even know that calculus is even necessary anymore, but we still teach it in schools, I think. I haven't been to high school in, whatever, 30 years at this point. But I don't know that a lot of the stuff that we teach today is helpful. Like where's the basic economics courses, right? Where's the, the in-depth understanding of inflation, right? Of how taxes work, right? Where's the in-depth understanding of how interest works? It'd be nice if we taught a little bit more of that, because that's what seems to be screwing people over more than anything, in my opinion. It's not the lack of calculus information, So, okay, Funland, 1022, Baldy, you should have been a calculus teacher. Again, yeah, no. Nope. I wanted to be a woodshop teacher, believe it or not. I had this, my wife always makes fun of me. I had this dream of moving out to Dodge City, Kansas, and marrying one of my, I would say my high school sweetheart, but one of these women that I just knew forever. I was going to move out there. We were going to get married. I was going to be a woodshop teacher living out in Dodge City, Kansas. It was going to be amazing. And it just, like, the image was so great in my head. And then when it actually came to the time when it could be a reality, it's like I wasn't dating anyone. After 20 years of knowing each other, we'd finally both been single. And I was going to get the whole thing together. Then I realized she was not for me. She had a whole bunch of kids that weren't going to be my kids. She lived in a place I didn't really want to live. And it was like, okay, well, now, Eric, here you go. You can do it. You can do it. Oh, did I say she was rich, too? Like, she had lots of money. But then when it came to, oh, my God, I would have to do this for the rest of my life, I was just like, no. Terrible thing to do. I know this is probably going to turn people off. God, Eric's a horrible person. The idea of something is very different than the reality of said idea. So anyway, okay. Trump sucks. SAG. Yeah, I know. Trump's not doing what he said he was going to do. I was real happy with the guy. I like the guy personally, but not doing what he said he was going to do. So Mike Murphy's in here. Good to see you, dude. All right, good morning. See, we got more bald. Matt, ZS3KO, all you guys. Zero out the 10 rage bait. Okay, rage bait. I don't know. Again, there is a lot of rage bait. Have you guys noticed that? There is a ton of that on the internet today. But what I'm trying to do is just have a conversation with people. Talk about real issues that affect real Americans. And again, you're getting information from a real business owner, a guy. I wasn't perverted by the college system. I haven't been, wealthy. I haven't, walked the path. In fact, I hit every bumper on the the pinball machine, moved all over America, and somehow figured this thing out. So that's the perspective that we're talking about here. And again, I think it's a great conversation. So I appreciate everyone meeting this morning. Okay, who is this? John PC2YV. Tariffs do not help when you're talking the tariff money and give it to foreign countries. X 40 billion to Argentina, 18 billion to Israel, etc. Yeah, and that's a great point. I don't know if you guys have noticed this. Trump talks a big game about tariffs, right? And when you do a tariff, I mean, it's a form of protectionism, right? You're essentially making it more expensive to use third world cheap labor and cheap operations and third world, God, what's the word I'm looking for? When they give businesses incentives to produce at a lower cost. Anyway, when the foreign countries protect their industries, so that's in fact a good thing. It incentivizes people to buy American goods. It incentivizes people to start American business. It incentivizes people to do more business with their neighbors as opposed to buying shit from Amazon and third world. But like you're saying, when you then give a ton of money to Argentina to import beef or to prop up their government, right? Because they're going from being essentially, were they socialist or communist, and now they're essentially democratic, if I'm not mistaken. But when you're propping that government up by giving them $40 billion, tariffs seem like kind of a joke. It's like, wait a minute, we're supposed to do business here in America with Americans, and then you're going to give all of our money and special, trading rights to these countries that, again, maybe they're becoming democratic, which, is something. It's nice that we're actually supporting a country that wants to be democratic, because I don't know if you guys understand this, but every country America deals with is either communist, socialist, or a monarchy, right? And then everyone tells oh my God, I'm so American. I love America. America this, America that, America, 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 America. Yet all your shit's made in communist China or communist Vietnam. All your fucking oil that you guys are buying was coming from monarchies, whether it's Qatar, whether it's Saudi Arabia, whether it's Jordan, whether it's Kuwait, doesn't matter. They're all monarchies over there. And it's just, again, if you implement tariffs and you really want to change the way America works and you want to change the way Americans think, you got to bring the work back here. You got to get more people working, doing real work instead of knowledge work, instead of what they call bullshit jobs. And as long as you're using the third world to make all of your guys' stuff, it's never going to happen. So anyway, I love the comment, man. Great comment, and gets people thinking, right? Again, why are we giving all this money away to the third world if we're supposedly tariffing the third world so that we can make more stuff here? We're going to nearshore. Doesn't make a lot of sense, All right. Who's this? This is Joe DeFlippo. Joe DeFlippo, 3774. Trump 2029. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Trump may try and run. What do you guys think? You think Trump's going to try and run for a third term? You think he's going to be the next FDR? He wants to be, man. I did the talk yesterday. Trump wants to go down as being the greatest person that ever lived in America. Trump is a megalomaniac, and he will literally bend reality to make how he sees things real. And when you give a guy enough power, he can do it, so kind of scary. Trump literally wants to be Caesar, right? He wants to be on Mount Rushmore. He thinks that he could be whatever, Teddy Roosevelt, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. But the problem is that what he has to do, though all those great presidents that everyone aspires to be like, they had massive conflicts that they had to fix, right? So Trump essentially, if he wants to be the stabilizer in chief, he wants to bring peace to the Middle East, he wants to bring peace everywhere, he's never going to get there. He needs a major conflict, which is one of the reasons I think that where Trump's going with all this is he doesn't actually want peace like everyone thinks he does. He wants to provoke China or he wants to provoke Russia, because that's how you get the major conflict that could then lead to him being that person. But he'll need a third term to do it. And I don't think he's going to be able to. He's not capable, I don't think. But I don't know. It's crazy thought, guys. I'm sorry. I don't want to go off into conspiracy lane. Okay. You don't even live in the USA. Okay, dude. I live in St. Louis, America, or I live in St. Louis, or my business is in St. Louis. I actually live across the border in Illinois. But whatever, man. I appreciate it. The real Drake 007, yes, but it's designed for you to win, brother. Yes, but it's designed for you to win. Okay, what is designed for me to win? I'm curious. Real Drake, and again, anyone that comes back, Real Drake's been here before. I appreciate everyone coming back, and I like going back and forth with you guys, and I tell you guys all the time, I'm willing to change. Like, I know that I don't know everything. I'm an idiot, right? I'm a troglodyte, whatever word you want to use. But you got to give me the information, and I'm always open to new ways of thinking. All right, to Cliff Champion 5501. We need this man in GTA 6. Okay, great comment, Cliff. Is that what you do all morning? Just like throw random comments out there? Is that? I'm always curious why people do this stuff. All right, Smuggy Smuggerson's back. All right, bro is cooked. Thanks, Smuggy. I appreciate it, man. You guys in the stream, hit the like button, add the discussion, and hit the subscribe button. Again, I try to do one talk a day about current events, whatever. I went into work. I literally got 3 hours late today. Normally, I do these talks about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, but here we're about doing the talk at 8. So I appreciate everyone hanging out. All right, Joe Listicle. That's an interesting name. Okay, oh God, I've been hopeful, but no, Trump is not the answer. Yeah, I know. That's how I was. I was super hopeful. I voted for Trump. I wanted Trump in office. I wanted his business acumen. I thought it would be good for America. But Trump is not doing what a business owner would do. Like, again, me as a business owner, I know what supply and demand is. I know where the money is going and where the money needs to be. I have a pretty good idea of what affects the average American because I am one and I employ them. Trump is not doing any of these things. He is not working for the American people. He's claiming stability and getting energy prices down, but he's doing the exact opposite at this point. So anyway, we can go into that. If you guys want to know my thoughts on energy policy, you want to know, again, I live on the Mississippi where barges full of coal go up all day long, go into the power stations. You guys want to know how power really works? It's not wind turbines and solar panels, I can tell you that. And again, it's not Middle East oil. Okay, let's see, you talk a lot, you should be a teacher. No, teachers don't necessarily talk a lot, and I would not want to be a teacher. I'm an idiot. Okay, Queenie Carolina 8477, Trump jail. Trump already went, I mean, I guess he didn't go to jail. He has that great mugshot, man. I love his mugshot. Okay, let's see, Constantine posted, the lunatic texted last night, Iran surrendered. He is insane. I know. Trump, again, Trump's one of these guys that he just will say anything because, again, he's got a huge platform on Truth Social, and he basically has X cucked. If you guys haven't noticed, there's literally everyone on X that is a major Republican right-wing influencer. They're all paid to literally create an echo chamber, right? So if you guys notice, all the main people are pushing the same post. They're all saying the exact same thing, like right after each other. Like it's odd that the major people on X are all posting the exact same thing. There's no nuance. There's no pushback. They're all in unison, guys. And I don't know who's paying them. I don't know why they're taking this money. I don't know why they're pushing this shit. But I mean, everyone needs to make money. But this is what I call a bullshit job. Like if your job is literally just push Republican political propaganda for a living, like I don't consider that to be a real job, man. It's kind of weak, man. Go out and make some shit, you know? Go give somebody a job. Stop posting propaganda. But whatever. Bro is going to disappear. This is irrelevant to America's safety. It's just, this is irrelevant to America's safety. Okay, what's irrelevant to America's safety, and what do you think makes America safe, right? Did you not think that America was safe before? Are you worried about a specific country or worried about a specific region? I'm curious, why do people think America's not safe? What is Trump doing that is making America safer? Put in the comments. I want to know. Epstein in the Trump files. Epstein in the Trump files. Okay. Elite Wad, you've been here before. I appreciate you coming back too, dude. Again, I've done a number of talks about Epstein. That's where we always get hundreds of people in here as we start talking conspiracy and Epstein. You people just love that stuff. Yeah, Trump's in the Epstein's the most because, again, he's like the most popular person during the time. Again, that's the thing about, like, you guys got to understand about the Epstein files. You got a lot of people in there. Had nothing to do with little girls and debaucherous shit, but there's a lot of people that were. And the problem that I have with anybody that's in the Epstein files, so Josh Bensbag in here throwing gifts in. Josh, good to see you, dude. Josh, again, we got a lot of long-time people, and I say long time. I've been doing this for a little over a month now. Again, lots of people to live stream. Lots of people love this stuff. But the thing about the Epstein files that people have to understand, if you're going to pay attention to anything about the Epstein files, don't worry about who's in the Epstein files. It's not as important as the date of 2008. Okay, the minute Jeffrey Epstein became a child trafficker, which is one of the most disgusting crimes you can have, right? He's basically a pedophile. The reason Jeffrey Epstein had to be in his own cell is that because when people go into prison that are known for raping little girls, right, that are pedophiles, that have that thing with kids, they're basically killed. This is what happens when you go into. So again, they couldn't put this guy in his own, in general population, because again, what he's in there for would cause him to die, right? And again, the government wanted to kill him. That's what I think. But point is that, again, everyone that talked to Jeffrey Epstein after his 2008 conviction of child trafficking is who you need to look at, because these are the people that don't care about pedophilia. These are the people that are susceptible to, or don't have a soul, essentially. All they care about is doing business with Epstein, being in Epstein's orbit, being in whatever circle of debauchery that this guy was involved in. Those are the people you need to focus on. And to Trump's credit, he wasn't involved with that guy after that conviction. Right, and say what you will about Trump. I think Trump's a kind of a nasty dude. I think he's into little girls and he's into young women and beautiful women and all these kind of things. But your Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, was in business with Epstein after that conviction. Right, that guy's got to go. Tom Pritzker, again, Tom already got kicked out of Hyatt, you know, so that's one win for us. Pam Bondi has lied about the Epstein files on numerous occasions. Kash Patel has lied about the Epstein files on numerous occasions. All of these people have either covered up or redacted people that they were not supposed to redact or protect based on the definition of who could be redacted and who could not be redacted in the Epstein Transparency Act passed November 19th, 2025. Okay, so that's the stuff I think you need to pay attention to. Like I think Kash Patel's out of here. Kash Patel doesn't make it to the middle of the year. Howard Lutnick doesn't make it to the end of March. I think Howard Lutnick, as soon as this war stuff dies down, Epstein files are coming right back. I'm one of these guys that I said this is one of the only topics I want to talk about as it pertains to the federal government, right? Because I believe that Mossad, CIA, the FBI, people like Donald Trump, people like Howard Lutnick, people like even Elon Musk, all these people are in this kind of weird place. You know, Bill Gates is in there, Bill Clinton's in there. These guys are in this weird place, and they literally blackmail people or influence people at a minimum to do certain kinds of things. It's one of the reasons I think America is so wedded to the state of Israel, right? There's something there. I don't know what it is, but anyway, I don't want to go on about it. It's everyone kind of knows all this stuff. All right, Tony Alston, 4838, get private equity out of my future Mars homestead. Yeah, private equity's got to go, guys. I guess I'm one of these people, like, I think private equity has been a scourge on this country. And again, but you guys, everyone wants to be in office, right? Everyone wants to work in an office. Everyone wants to be the guy that's, you know, walking up in the suit, pulling up in the Lambo. What do you do? Oh, I'm in finance. I'm a funds manager, right? We push this idea of this being the pinnacle of being a man, right? Like, oh man, I got my aviators on. I'm so amazing. I'm a master of the universe. And the idea of the guy that, you know, goes to work striping roads is somehow a fucking loser because he didn't, you know, make it to BlackRock, you know? And We got to change that mentality, guys. The idea of going to work, roofing a house, doesn't make you a loser, right? The idea of going to the factory making cars doesn't make you a loser, but we bastardized what it means to work in this country. And this is one of the reasons I really like Trump and the idea of bringing tariffs in so hard, eliminating all of the third world, because everyone thinks like, okay, well, you eliminate the third world, well, then more people could do that work here. But what happens is what it really does is it takes the guys that all they give a fuck about is EBITDA, all they care about is their gross profit, all they care about is margin, all they care about is number go up. It makes those guys much more difficult to happen, right? It makes those guys much more difficult to make their business model work. When you don't have cheap labor, when you actually have to hire Americans, very difficult to make money, right? I'm always telling you guys about free cash, right? As a business owner here in America that doesn't live entirely on credit, you have to have a product that makes money, that people actually want, and you have to actually take care of your employees. Otherwise, you can't deliver your product, right? You can't create that amazing experience for your customer. When you can use the third world where they pay people $1.50 to $2.50 an hour instead of paying an American $32.50 an hour, that business model gets really hard, guys, like wildly difficult. So the MBA bro, like he really is gonna struggle to run a business here in America. Again, when you can't bring the third world in, right? You can't bring in the people that will not say anything about the EPA standards, the OSHA standards, the employer standards, the labor standards. When you can't bring those people in here, the NBA really struggles. So when everyone tells me like, no, you got to have people that work on the business, not in the business. Again, that's a thing, I get it. But most of these guys that are doing this kind of work, these guys are fucked. And this is one of the reasons that you're not going to see the tariffs become a big thing. You're not going to see the third world cease to be a thing, because again, this entire branch of business owners and of titans of industry will no longer be able to make money, and we'll find out that they're all essentially worthless, right? They have bullshit jobs, because again, when you could like take my business furniture, guys. I always talk about this Gary Friedman guy from Restoration Hardware. If you guys have ever been to one of their galleries, like, oh, it's so amazing. The guys are wearing suits, the girls are all dolled up. You got the great lighting, the great furniture, the beautiful ambiance, the music, all these kind of things. It's great. Who wouldn't want to be able to do that? But what you guys have to understand is the reason they're able to do that is because they pay people in China $2.50 an hour. And then that got expensive. So then they shifted production to Vietnam, where they pay $1.50 an hour. Okay, so again, you take that delta, the $1.50 they're paying the guy in Vietnam, and the $32.50 an hour they'd have to pay the American worker, right? They're using that money to build up these massive galleries, to pay their shareholders money, to pay the C-suite executives to work on, strategy, to work on, ROI, to work on, planning, to work on data analysts. They're paying people to do all kinds of bullshit at the expense of the American worker. Instead of teaching someone how to make these beautiful restoration hardware credenzas, they're hoping they can get a college guy that'll come in and work on marketing, right? And again, there's nothing wrong with marketing. There's nothing wrong with data analytics. But the problem is that when you have a society where everyone's hyper-specialized on doing some kind of a digital or what I call a bullshit job, you don't have people that know how to make things. You don't have people that understand the value of an honest day's work, the value of going to work, right? The value of going to the job site. And my definition of the way America should work is very different than most people's definition of how America should work. But Restoration Hardware is a disgusting company, right? So they use that money that, again, they're paying the guy in Vietnam versus the guy they would have to pay in America to learn how to make furniture. They're buying private jets, and they're creating an image. They're buying yachts, right? You got Restoration Hardware yacht. You got Restoration Hardware private jet 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, I used to work for Gulfstream, right? The nicest, most respected private jet company in the world, okay? Restoration Hardware has 2 of our jets, okay? So the business model of these large corporations is what is costing Americans the average middle-class life, right? Being able to buy a home when you're 21 like I was. Being able to drive BMWs your entire life because you make a decent wage. The value of your dollar hasn't been destroyed by people like the Fed, right? The government trying to protect businesses like Restoration Hardware through the manipulation of inflation. And so anyway, it's I don't want to go into it too much. I can go on a big rant. I hope people don't want to listen to me rant all day. Okay, dollar's about to lose its value. This is King Game Z 2667. Dollar's about to lose its value. I think housing is going to be the least of our worries, brother. And again, like say the dollar loses all of its value. Okay, what's going to be the next currency? What do you think is going to be Bitcoin? Do you think that the federal government's just going to give up? Like, okay, well, I guess no one believes the dollar anymore. I guess we're just going to take our chips and go home. Like, no, the dollar's never going to lose its value. Why do you think Trump is over there fucking with all these countries, right? He's trying to make sure that the dollar is in circulation everywhere. He wants everyone to think that America is the only safe place. Therefore, you're going to put all your dollars in America's hands, right? Like the petrodollar is losing a ton of its value because Saudi Arabia no longer has to trade in the American dollars. That contract is up. It lasted 75 years. It's over. Now you got, countries like BRICS, having their own currency. You can trade oil in yen. You can trade oil in yuan. You can trade oil in all different kinds of denominations. It used to be only dollars, right? So the American dollar is already in deep shit, but where America really fucked itself is during COVID when they printed, I think it was eight or 11 trillion dollars. Like, what do you think happens to the dollar when you literally increase the money supply 3x? Like, what do you think is going to happen? So anyway. Okay, let's see. This is Tony Allison 4838 dollar. Yeah, again, yeah, Tony, you already said it. Okay, I'm just reiterating what Tony said. So, all right, Josh is throwing more gifts in your Josh Basket. Appreciate it, dude. Again, anyone throws in the gift, you want your comment read right away. I can get behind. Throw in a gift, hit the super chat, all those kind of things. And again, I tell in all my streams, guys, Google doesn't support what I do. YouTube doesn't support what I do. They hate when you talk like a real person. They hate when you use profanity. They hate when you talk about controversial issues. They hate when you say things like Iran, Israel, any of that stuff. They don't want to hear any of that shit because it's bad for advertising, So I tell everyone, throw gifts in here, throw in super chats. And again, I don't need it, but it's part of any business owner, right? I make all my money in furniture. You guys can go to the resplendentcrow.com and see the furniture I sell. Most people can't afford it, and that's fine. I'm not trying to sell you guys furniture, but know that I have a real business. I make real American products with real employees, and we do a real thing here in America. We're not just selling you guys, bullshit cups from fucking China. I'm not trying to get you guys to subscribe to my channel, to go to my Patreon, go to my Substack. Like, no, we make a real product, and that's why I can do this and not have to make any money. So, all right, King James 2662. We're a week into the weakening of the petrodollar. It's going to get worse. Yeah, King James, you said you already said what I was saying. You get it. Coca-Cola, man, great name. Okay, apologize to Trump now. Okay, I'm sorry, Trump. Please, master, don't come beat me. Okay, Major Dasaf 8720. What? Okay, Don Trump 9362. Everything revolves around oil. Okay, I agree with your statement, but it doesn't revolve around the Middle East. So what you guys need to understand about the oil industry, and again, I spent a whole bunch of time in Oklahoma. Believe it or not, they have a lot of oil in Oklahoma. Look up the hams. Anyway, once hydraulic fracturing came into effect, right, we started making a lot of our own oil here in America, and not only in America, Canada, right? So 50% of all the oil that America imports, let me say that one more time, 50% of all the oil America imports comes from Canada, right? The other 10% comes from Mexico. We only get 6% of oil from places like Saudi Arabia, okay? So this isn't the 1970s again. When you have a major conflict in the Middle East, yes, it's gonna affect oil prices on the world stage, but America makes 13 million barrels of its own oil every day, right? So if shit got real hard, trust me, America's gonna be fine, right? So, and the thing that people are saying about the petrodollar is the petrodollar is dying. It's dying a slow death as long as other countries can now buy oil and are not required to buy it in American dollars, which is how the petrodollar used to work. It's going to continue to decline, right? So it's going to be a big problem, coming up. But our biggest problem isn't the petrodollar. Our biggest problem is our debt, right? You don't need to rely on other countries to buy your debt if you don't have fucking $40 trillion in debt. Thank you very much, Fed. I love you guys printing money every fucking year for the politicians. Awesome. It's really helpful to America. Now we can't afford jack shit, and it's wildly frustrating. So, all right, Euro Scott. In Europe, 1 gallon of gas costs almost $10. In Europe, 1 gallon of gas costs almost $10. Yeah, Europe, a lot of people don't understand in America that the cost for fuel in every other place on earth is wildly expensive, unless you're talking about the Middle East. And the funny thing about it is America makes more oil than the Middle East, yet it's still wildly expensive here. Why is that? Why is it the Middle East can essentially give oil away for free there, and we have to pay $3 a gallon here, right? It's kind of goofy, right? I spent a bunch of time in New Zealand, and when you go down to New Zealand, and I'm sure it's Euro Scott, I'm sure it's the same thing where you're at. They buy they buy gas by the liter, right? Very different, but it's essentially, I think it was 4 times as expensive in New Zealand to get gas as it was here in America, and over in Europe, I think it's 2 or 3 times as expensive to get gas over there. So it is what it is. Every country prices things differently. I'm sure there's things that are really cheap in Europe that are stupidly expensive here in America. We just, oil's a little bit cheaper here. So, okay, leaked wad. Yeah, the whole generation is like that. The average American, funny terms to throw a lot of random people in. Yeah, well, again, I speak in a lot of generalities here. This is like I said, I'm a normie dude. I'm not some special guy, that just talks for a living. Like I build furniture for a living. I manage a business for a living. Like I just do this because it's fun and it's cathartic and I like to talk to normie people. I'm a normie guy. So, okay, King James Z 2667. Is this even live? This guy is not engaging with his chat. Okay, I thought I was engaging with the chat. Am I just way behind? Let's see where am I at. Holy shit, guys, I am way behind. Okay. We're going to speed up on the chat. Sorry, guys. I'm going to get to your comments. Again, like, it's impossible to keep up with the chat, guys. Like, you have got to put a super chat in if you want your comment read right away. Throw in a gift, and I'll try and focus in on you, but there's no way to get your comment read right away unless you do that, because there's no way for me to see what it is you guys are posting. Because, again, I can't go back and forth with people, I have to talk even faster, and everyone makes fun of me because of how fast I talk already. Like, I do the best that I can. So, okay, all right, Dennis. Ed Montel 3064, Christmas Story. Love that movie. Yeah, me too, man. It's fragile. That's right. It's a great, cool thing. We need tradesmen now more than ever. Yeah, I think this is Dion Corolla 8283. Yeah, we do need more tradespeople. We need more people. It's not necessarily tradespeople. It's just we need to change the mentality of how we look at things in America. And again, maybe I'm speaking like old man speak here, but what I think is missing in America is I think we are too quick to buy new stuff, right? We don't repair things the way we used to. We don't, not only do not repair things, we don't build things to be repaired. We don't have the parts anymore that we used to have. Every business today, and again, I blame this on colleges, I blame this on MBAs, is they engineer in obsolescence, right? They like the idea of things being so cheap because of the third world that instead of actually fixing something, trying to fix it, hell, even looking for it. Like if you fucking lose something, you guys notice that a lot of times you just order it again on Amazon because it'll be here tomorrow. This idea that we just keep buying stuff over and over again is not good for society, not only because it's super wasteful, but it creates a bunch of stuff that sucks, right? It creates a bunch of stuff that doesn't really matter because you got new stuff coming out next year or new season, right? The reason cars don't look nice as they used to is because they don't want them to look nice. They don't want you to love a car so much that you stick with it for 10 years. They want you to buy another one and, oh yeah, they all look the same, so it doesn't even matter which one you buy. This is why every car essentially looks like an amoeba. They all look the same. The idea of, again, like I have a 2005 Volkswagen Touareg, right? The most problematic, unreliable car that's ever been made. I've had it for 3 years now. I've never had a problem with it because when I bought it, I changed out the water pumps, all the pulleys, all the belts. I changed out all the differential fluids, the transmission fluid, every fluid that's in that car. I swapped out all the valve cover gaskets, all the water pump gaskets, every gasket that I could possibly swap out of this thing. All the rubber was replaced. And again, zero problems. And I don't think it's because the car is unreliable. I think it is because people do not maintain their shit anymore. And that's how I see it, So we get back to tradespeople where people are building houses, building skyscrapers, laying asphalt, right? Doing real work. Guess what? Working on your home isn't a big deal. Fixing your busted ass treadmill isn't a big deal. Fixing your busted ass car isn't a big deal. Whatever, doing the concrete on your driveway isn't a big deal. Putting in new walkways, kitchen cabinets, whatever, windows, all these kind of things. It changes the psychology of your, not civilization, but of your country, right? Of your, whatever, your people. It changes the psychology. And our psychology has just gotten to where everything's replaceable, nothing is expected to last. And anyway, you guys know where I'm going. I'm not going to keep ranting about it. Yeah, I think we do need more tradesmen. And if we would change the way that our country works, this is why I support a 400% tariff on anything that's manufactured in the third world. You want to bring materials in here, zero tariff. You want to sell into the rest of the world. Everyone always says, oh, but then American businesses aren't going to be able to sell into the other worlds because they're going to tariff the shit out of our products. We're going to get reciprocal tariffs. Like, we've been tariffed forever, guys. Like, I don't know if you guys understand that every fucking country has tariffed America's shit, like, big time. And again, we've done nothing about it because, again, all we want to do is be able to buy cheap shit from the third world. It's not that we want to sell our stuff in there. They would still buy it. They don't care. If America's quality got so good, anybody will pay any price. It doesn't matter what it is. But when we continuously just want to work with other countries so that we can get cheap shit into America so that you guys can buy it and buy new shit every year, every season, I just don't think it's good for our country. So anyway, you guys don't want to hear me talk about this. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you think we need? This guy thinks we need more tradespeople. I'm in it, okay? I appreciate your comment. Okay, oh, sorry guys, I just lost my spot. Hold on one second, guys. Let's get back to it. Okay, let's see. This was Dion Carroll 8283. Man, great comment. I really appreciate it. Okay, Sir Jacob, eventually, entirely off credit. Meanwhile, the country is 30 billion. And yeah, and again, like I said, everyone says, oh, we need to. You listen to all the finance bros on YouTube. You know, oh, just get your ducks in a row. You know, this is how you save money. This is how you don't live on credit. This is how you buy houses, buy gold. They're always telling you guys how to do it. Very difficult to do it in reality. And I say this as a complete idiot who actually owns a business, does okay for himself. Wildly difficult. I still got tons of credit card debt. I'm a freaking normal person, okay? But when your country just continues to go further and further and further and further and further to debt, what do you expect your people to do? Your government is essentially a representation of your people. Like, again, get your guys' houses in order. It's like, fuck you, man. You can't even the government can't get it. And again, we're gonna go bomb countries while we're massively in debt. Like, one of the great ways to keep a country from going to war is maybe balance your budget. There's no money for war. Like, there's a novel idea. Like, hey, if we want to go to war, let's get our affairs in order here at home, and then let's go to war. But no, let's go to war first, and then that's gonna fix everything at home. I don't know the mentality, guys. So you guys tell me. All right, Titan Brew's in here. Titan Brew, good to see you, dude. Titan Brew 8493. Titan Brew is one of our moderators. He comes in and helps keep all the people that love to just spam with dumb shit comments. He gets them out of here. So Titan Brew, if I remember correctly, you owned an asphalt company and retired. So another business owner here, another guy who did a job that's very difficult that most people don't want to do. And guess what? He had business forever, So I know it's a simplistic way to say it, Titan. I'm sure there were lots of hard years. Okay, you'll just shoot your eye on best line in Christmas story. Yeah, I know. I like the part where he's holding the hubcap and it's got all the nuts in there, and then he loses it, and then he's got the oh. That's the part that I love. I think it's so good. Okay, we need to bring back unions in a big way, and everyone says that. Again, as a business owner, I don't think we need unions. I think we just need a better class of business owner. The reasons unions were brought into place was because of people like Andrew Carnegie, who would have guys working, 12, 16 hours a day, very dirty work environments, didn't take care of their employees, didn't give a fuck about people, to be completely honest with you, and really soured the worker against the employer. And unions were necessary at that time. And today, why don't we just say we need unions in the third world? Again, if it's good for America, it shouldn't be good for the rest of the world. But this is where all your large corporations and big businesses send all their shit, because there's no unions there, there's no EPA there, there's no OSHA there, there's no labor laws there, there's none of that shit there. And that's all we need to do, just cut the third world off, or we could have reciprocal, like everyone, Trump talks about reciprocal tariffs, like fuck tariffs, talk reciprocal regulations. That would crush it faster than tariffs, trust me. Because nobody would be able to operate in the third world, because they literally put regulations in America so that you cannot start a small business, you cannot compete. And if you do want to start a small business, guess what? You got to go to the third world to do it. White label the product, bring it back here, put your name on it, and sell it to your fellow American for 10 times market. Like, it's a disgusting system that we have here, guys. Like, again, a lot of people don't agree with me when I talk about this kind of stuff, but again, as an American manufacturer who makes real American products, I'm just disgusted at what we've let go on in this country. By telling people you don't want to be a furniture maker, that's for losers, right? You don't want to be lay asphalt, that's for losers. You don't want to be one of these people that has to frame houses, that's for Mexicans. It's like, you want to work in an office, right? You want to be a hedge fund manager, you want to be a data analyst, you want to be a psychologist, you want to do all these things. And they were able to convince you guys that that's a good thing when they sent all your work to the third world and then brought the cheap shit back here and sold it to you guys while you were all being fucked in the ass by academia. So sorry. Done. Not going to say any more about it. I appreciate the comment. Okay, Scott Kutchelmeister, profits for shareholders. 100%, man. And again, using the third world to do it. Instead of paying you $32.50 an hour and using all the regulations that are in this country, they pay dim sum over there, $2.50 an hour with no regulations. They bring that money back to that delta, the $2.50, the $32.50, $30 an hour. They give it to their shareholders. They use it to create more products, more services, more advertising. Beautiful galleries like Restoration Hardware, buy private jets, buy yachts, buy big crazy apartments in New York. And again, your job, sent to the third world. And again, you're told you're a fucking loser if you want to make furniture, that you need to go to college and get the same degree that 10 million other people got. And then when you get out of the workplace and you're like, hey, I got my degree, they're like, yeah, you got the 10 millionth degree, you fucking idiot. So there we go. America's changing. Times are changing, guys. This idea of going to college out of high school, I think is dumb. And again, there's a lot of people that do need to go to college, but this idea that you're going to get smart by going to college does not make you smart, guys. It gives you more information, gives you maybe a different perspective on things, gets you around different people than the little town you grew up in. But you do not make dumb people smarter by sending them to college. And it just always like drives people crazy. You make smart people smarter by going to college. Most people need to get a job right out of high school with a company. The employers need to treat their people better. You need to, if you're going to hire somebody and you're going to teach them something, you got to fucking teach them something, right? You got to teach them how to, whatever, bend metal for HVAC. You got to teach them how, the electronic panels work in an air conditioner, right? You got to actually teach them some shit, give them a real job, and then keep them. Like, you can't just, throw employees all over the place. That's no way to run a company. And again, I don't run my company that way. Most of the people have been with me for a long time. I pay them really well. I make less money because I pay people a really good wage. So until we get the MBA, college-y mentality out of small business and out of big business, I don't see how you fix it, dude. Okay, all right, Dean says, made in America, sold to Americans, bought in America. Yes, that's exactly what I do. And again, guys, go to theresplendentcrow.com if you want to see how my business runs, what I do. It's all there. It's just, again, it's expensive furniture, but that's how it is in America. You want to make American wages, you need to make American products and sell them to Americans. It's how I think it needs to be. Okay, I've been a carpenter by trade for 25 years. This is a brand comp 5250. That's fantastic, man. That's cool, man. And again, carpenters make really good money, especially today, from what I understand. You got to learn about sales. You got to learn about how to market yourself. You got to make sure you got a good backlog of customers, because you do a good job, you're going to have customers forever. I tell you guys all the time, it's the old customers that keep you in business, not just finding new customers, So anyway. Okay, leaked wad. Are we gonna cry? Wah. Go ahead, baby, cry me. Wah. Best line in the Christmas story. Again, I don't remember that line specifically, but again, there's so many good lines in that movie. It's just such a classic. Kevin Krause, VG4NW. Did you ever work in Wichita in aircraft? I worked in Wichita for 14 years in Wichita, Kansas. And again, I did a cast telling you guys my story. I lived in picturesque Corvallis, Oregon, and beautiful. You're in the Willamette Valley, wine country, the oceans, all that kind of stuff. But I was an idiot. I wasn't an educated guy. So I moved to Wichita, Kansas, chasing cabinet making jobs, and I got a cabinet making job offer to work at a company called Baumhoff in Wichita, Kansas. I moved out there. I drove out there in a Miata with $750 in my pocket, and started working there. I worked there for 3 months. They laid me off right away because the company got bought by Nordam, which was another company in Wichita that had their headquarters in Tulsa. I started working after Baumhoff was bought out. I went to work for a company called Global Engineering and Technology, which is another Wichita-based aviation supplier. And I just kind of bounced around. So I spent a lot of time in Wichita. A lot of family still lives in Wichita, Kansas. And I tell them, Wichita, Kansas is a great place to live. You're not going to get the ocean. You don't got any mountains, but the cost of living is reasonable. The wages are very good because it's the aviation capital of the world. And if you want to go see some shit, guess what? They got a great, beautiful airport there, and you can fly anywhere, and everywhere's close because you're right in the middle of the country. So I think Wichita, Kansas is a great place to live. Again, people talk a lot of crap on the flyover states and the Midwest, but I think a lot of these people are going to see a resurgence because people are tired of paying the high cost for everything, and they got no choice but to move where the cost of living is lower, So I worked there for a long time. I worked in aerospace my entire life. Okay, Brad Comp, no stopping this train. Private jets to Epstein's Island. Deanna Carroll, unions guarantee equal pay as well as representation. Yeah, but unions and people that work with the union forget where their fucking paycheck comes from. This is the problem that I have with unions. You always hear people, support the union, support the union. Like, no, support the company that makes that possible. It's not the union that creates a product. It's not the union that sells a product. It's not a union, that has to make sure that the numbers work. Unions don't do that. Unions are only for the employees, and it's super easy to be for the employees when you don't actually have to sell a product, So unions do have a place, though. I'm not saying that they don't. When a industry does not take care of its people, get a union in there, right? But what happens when you get unions in there is that eventually the business leaves, right? The businesses stop operating where unions are. And again, it's not a popular thing to say, but it's just, what's Einstein's, E equals MC squared, right? Every action has an opposite reaction, So again, get rid of the third world. Don't let so many businesses outsource all the work to the third world, and don't let them bring in so many people in the third world. And guess what? you'll have to pay Americans. And guess what? You got to pay American wages because you got to pay people enough money to live. When you give a business the option of paying the third world or bringing the third world in here instead of hiring you, what happens? Your wages go down, your benefits go down. Like it doesn't, it doesn't take a fucking rocket science to figure this kind of stuff out, And again, people say, oh, unions. Like, no, get rid of the third world and see how things are. Because a lot of people, what you got to understand is like people that run businesses and people that sell products and things like that, they're not going to go pick up a shovel. Trust me, they'll find a way. They'll find a business model that sells to Americans, that pays American wages. They will find a way, but they don't have to. And until you tell them, yes, you have to do it this way, they're not going to do it, guys. And everyone says, oh, they'll raise the prices. Prices are going to go through the roof. Well, what's also going to happen is demand is going to crater. And there is an inverse relationship, between supply and demand, right? So if you have tons of supply, prices come down. It's the only way it can work, right? No demand, prices come down, right? We haven't operated that way in America for a long time, so we got to bring that back. Okay, what else we got in here? So Scott Kotchemeister, billionaires are wage thieves. I don't know if they're wage thieves. Again, you can't be a billionaire, guys, by fucking people over, right? You can't be a billionaire by constantly taking advantage of people. You can't be a billionaire by constantly treating people poorly. It doesn't work that way. The only way you get to be a billionaire is you're really good at doing things like leverage. You're really good at getting groups of people together to do great things. Like becoming a billionaire is not easy, So again, billionaires do horrible things, and there's a lot of terrible companies. I'm the first guy to say that large companies need to have a reckoning here in America, but you don't get to be a billionaire by being, an asshole. Okay, Brad Compa, can't afford a single new apartment. I've helped build. Can't afford a single new apartment I've helped build. Yeah, and again, that's scary, right? So I think a lot of people can relate to that comment, right? So a lot of people in America, they do a job, whether they're making something, they're providing a service, and the truth is they can't actually afford the thing that they're making, or they can't afford the service that they're providing. And that's what we have in this K-shaped economy. And I've told you guys many times, most of you guys can't afford my furniture. I can't afford my furniture, but guess what? I can build my furniture. So the reason my furniture has the nicest shit in it is because I made it. This is one of the things that, again, when I talk about tariffing 400% on everything coming in from the third world, this is one of the things that would happen in America. Again, I grew up dirt poor. We learned to make things because we didn't have any money, right? So if you have a society that learns to make things, well, guess what? You end up with a society with more business owners that know how to make real shit and do real things, whether it's a service or an actual product like furniture. I think we need more of that. And again, more people need to be able to, I shouldn't say we need more of that. That's not quite what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is that when you have a situation where more people have to make things, it starts to create this creative gene that I think all people have. It starts to spur innovation and creativity in people where they think like, you know what, like I'm not real smart. I don't have a lot of money. I'm not this, I'm not that, but I am good at this one thing. Like I had to learn this thing out of necessity. Maybe I can go do that thing, right? Or if you're like I was, like you're making aerospace cabinets for like Gulfstream and Cessna and Boeing and all these kind of people, but you're also trying to start a business on the side for decades in my case. Eventually you figure it out, right? You're trying to, again, I can't afford a lot of furniture, but I'm good at making furniture. I do it as my regular job, and I also do it when I come home. Well, I'm gonna try and start this business. Well, you fail a couple of times, eventually you figure it out, then you got a business. I think we need more of that in America. And again, when you can outsource so much to the third world, you don't have to make things. Again, it's cheaper just to buy it from the third world than just to even try and make it here in America, So I don't know if that makes sense, but I think that's a little bit more of what we need in this country today, if I'm being completely honest. Okay, rant on, bro. Yeah, no, I'm a ranter. Okay, Dion Carollo, 8283. When you're a member of a union, bosses don't push you around. You actually have protection. Well, here's an idea. Why don't you become such a good employee that your bosses don't push you around? How about you become such a good employee that your bosses ask you to do things because you're the guy that volunteers for everything? You're the guy that has. How about if your boss asks you to train people stuff because you're so goddamn good at it? This idea that bosses are all terrible and they just push people around. What I find with people that have that mentality is I find that a lot of people, they're actually the problem, right? They don't like to show up on time. They don't volunteer for everything. They're not the guy that wants to work overtime. They're the guy that, is the cancer in the culture at a business, and not every time. But I find that this is the case, right? Oh, my manager, he won't give me a promotion because he doesn't like me. Oh, I don't kiss the boss's ass, so I can't get this, I can't get that. I hear a lot of that from people. And again, as an employer, I can tell you the other side of it, And a lot of those people, they're their own worst enemy, But not to say that's everyone. I'm just saying, like, that's been my experience. I've been the guy that, gets the paycheck for 20 years. Now I've been the guy writing the paycheck for 10 years. And again, I can see both sides of the story. So, okay, this is Josh Baskin here. Josh, good to see you, dude. Josh always throws in there, to support me for a long time, and I really appreciate it. Okay, if you do think the tariffs are helping us short run, then go do some grocery shopping or head into the local hardware store and some supplies and get back to me. Tariffs help long run, who cares? Okay, Josh, that's a good comment. Again, tariffs make things more expensive. I'm not saying that they don't, man. Like one of the things that the tariffs do is they limit the amount of supply of it coming into the country, right? Which immediately drives the cost of everything up. And that kind of makes sense to me. But what I'm trying to do when I talk about tariffs being a good thing is I'm trying to crush this idea that you have an incentive to create a product using the third world, bring it back to Americans, and then sell it at a 10 times markup. I don't think people understand what the markup is on the stuff that comes from the third world. You could make it here in America for a very similar cost, except you're not paying an executive team, you're not paying a marketing team, you're not paying shareholders, you're not paying your C-suite executives, you're not paying a lot of these other things that drive up the cost of products, guys. And I just don't think people understand this. Tariffs would crush a lot of those jobs because you wouldn't be able to get your prices down enough to afford a team of executives, to be able to afford a shit ton of shareholders, to be able to afford a massive marketing and branding team. Like a lot of businesses today, a massive costs are branding and marketing, guys. And I think we need more business owners and more people making products for more Americans, and that will help to drive the cost down a little bit, but it will allow people to make American wages and buy American shit. And when things are wildly expensive, guys, guess what? Quality goes through the roof because you can't convince to buy someone a piece of shit if it's really expensive, right? So then you end up with a lot of people that learn how to make things. You end up with more repair people. You end up with more parts suppliers because things are made to last 10 years, to last 20 years, to last 30 years, instead of being meant to be replaced every year because, again, you can convince the American to buy it because it's dirt cheap because it's made in China, So, again, this is just maybe it's my pie in the sky kind of thinking, but yeah, that's how I kind of see it. So Josh Mensk, again, Josh, this is what I tell everyone here. Like so Josh has supported me, and he's given me super chats, super gifts, all these kind of things, and always has great things to say. He pushes back on me on a lot of things, and a lot of people do. And again, this is what we do. We have a real dialogue here, and I go back with people all the time. And I think this is why people like the live streams. I think this is why people like the interaction here on YouTube. So. Okay, virus 1244, but the union leaders can push you around. And again, and why are you paying someone to do something you could do yourself? Like convince your boss you're irreplaceable. Like do such a good job that your boss you're an undeniable employee. Why are you relying on the union and fucking seniority? Like seniority is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. Like anyone, I've been there for 10 years. Okay, yeah, great. You've been there for 10 years. What are you doing today? Like every day it starts over, right? You want to put in 10 years with a company. Again, did you go through the hard times? Did you take the pay cuts? Did you do the shit that didn't want to be done? Did you volunteer for the things that didn't want to be? That's the stuff that matters. It's not how long you've been there. If you've been there for a long time because you did all those things, that makes sense to me. But when people say, oh, he's been here for 10 years, okay, well, that doesn't mean jack shit to me. What have you done for the business? How have you helped the business to grow? What have you sacrificed for the business, right? And then how has the business rewarded you? It goes both ways, guys. If you work for a company where you're not being rewarded, get the fuck out of there. Go work for somebody else. So, all right. Brad Comp, 5015. I don't bank, never have, never will. Interesting. So you're like an all cash guy. Okay. Josh sent 100. Again, Josh, always appreciate, dude. Brad Comp, 5215. There will never be a day I put my income in someone else's hands. So yeah, I get it, man. That's tough to do, but if you can get away with it, man, more power to you. Okay. Tell us why Trumpness the end of our constitutional republic. Tell us why Trump is the end of our constitutional republic. Trump could be the end of our constitutional republic. Like, again, this idea that, essentially we're represented by our politicians. This is one of the great things about our deliberative body, right? The Senate is essentially this group of people, they deliberate everything. Nothing goes to the Senate quickly. That's why there's, 99 of them? The House is a little bit different, right? The House has 3 or 4 representatives for every state, and I think that the Senate has 1 or 2 representatives for every state. I think it was 2. If everyone agrees all the time on everything, or they don't push back against the different branches of the government, right? We got we got the judicial, we got the executive, we got the congressional branch. If none of these branches are pushing against each other, they're all agreed, you no longer have a constitutional republic, guys. And if Trump convinces everyone to do this, which he's kind of doing, it seems like, with this Iran thing. I don't see any pushback from anybody. I see none. Like, do you guys understand that Trump has essentially 60 days to execute this plan in Iran? Then he essentially has to ask for a declaration of war from Congress. Will he do that? Will Congress require that Trump does that, right? If he doesn't do that, and if Congress doesn't ask for it, that means that the president can literally go do whatever he wants. That means you no longer have a democratic republic, right? You're a constitutional republic. You move over into an emperor, right? You move over into an authoritarian regime. And then again, if Congress only wants to push back on the things that they want to push back on, which is what I think is going on, like, you all no longer have representation. And again, you can say, well, the people are being represented by their politicians, and all those politicians want the exact same thing, and the system is working exactly as it's intended. I don't think that that's the case, guys. I think that, again, when 94% of all your politicians are paid by AIPAC, right, which is the largest lobby for the state of Israel, even though everyone says that it's an American institution that does need to register as a foreign lobby, when that's happening, I'm here to tell you guys that your Congress people are doing what this one little tiny state with 9.6 million people want, not what the 350 million people in America want. I just don't believe. There's no way you convince me that many people all want the exact same thing. I was alive when 9/11 happened. I've never seen our country more galvanized than when that happened, okay? Iran is not that. It's not. There's no way that Iran is what we had on 9/11 when the Twin Towers came down. It's just, you can never convince me that that's the case. So I don't think that our government is representing its people at all. I think that Israel has a massive hold on this country, at least our politicians, for whatever reason. And I tell you guys in all my streams, the guy that founded OnlyFans is the #1 donator to AIPAC, okay? So these guys are getting donations, the largest donations, from the most degenerate thing that I've ever seen in the history of our country, right? OnlyFans is disgusting. Anyone that has kids, if you can't wrap your heads around that, you need a fucking lobotomy, okay? So, all right, that's all I'm gonna say about that. All right, we got Christian White, 852. FYI, the dollar is really worthless. Cost you $1.30 to buy a Swiss franc. Again, Trump could fix that, and you're gonna start invading countries. The only safe place in the world is America. Well, guess where everyone's gonna put their money? Makes it super easy for the Fed to print money when everyone wants American dollars. So we'll see what happens. Fake person, 2T Ed. I don't think I can buy that. COVID was necessary unless being jobless and foodless is a standard. Okay, fake person, I'm not sure what you're saying there. COVID was a scourge on this country, not for the disease or the virus, but because of what you guys allowed to happen to your fellow citizen. So, okay, separation of the three branches, okay. Article 1, separation. MAGA hat cell phone, so nice MAGA hat cell phone, Article 1, separation of three branches. Again, there's supposed to be separation, right? But the only people that seem to be pushing back against the executive branch is the Supreme Court of the United States. And then when the Supreme Court, deliberates for 6 months on a policy, Trump just goes and does another thing. And maybe he does another 5 things. So again, the executive branch is moving way faster than the judicial branch, and the congressional branch isn't doing shit. The congressional branch is doing fuck all. If you guys have noticed, they're not pushing back at all. And again, they're not passing bills or laws that help you guys. They're doing nothing. Nobody is doing anything. And I don't think that Americans want that. I don't think this is what this country wants. I don't think that when you guys get up in the morning, you're like, oh my God, where's Hezbollah today? I got to find out what's going on there. Or like, oh my God, I wonder what Trump's doing over in Iran today. I sure hope he goes over there and snatches a leader out of Greenland, or a governor. I can't wait till we go get Greenland. Like, it's going to be amazing. I don't think Americans are worried about any of that. Like, all we give a fuck about at this point is the cost of housing. Why is food so dang expensive? Why did my property taxes keep going up when the value of my home isn't necessarily going up? My area is not necessarily getting better. Why is the cost of auto insurance through the roof? Why is the cost of homeowners insurance through the roof? Why can't a guy who's 21 years old afford a home like I could in 2001, 2003? I forget what the hell it was. But like, why is that not happening? Okay, why does everything continue to get more expensive when supposedly this is the greatest country that ever existed? Times are better now than they've ever been. Your president's constantly telling you how great things are. Congress isn't pushing back against anything, so apparently everything must be great. So we're not being represented, guys, and I'm sorry to tell you, no union's going to fix that for you. Going and bombing a third world country isn't going to do that for you. Going and snatching a third world country isn't going to do that for you. Killing all the drug cartels isn't going to do that for you guys. Like, your government isn't working for you. And again, I think we've talked at length about what could help this country, and I think we've thrown a bunch of ideas out there. And again, no one in the chat is saying that going to war is going to help us, because I just don't think it's not. And again, I'm all for it. You guys want to go to war? Someone wants to come over here and fuck with America? Like, great, let's go to war. Let's do it, but we don't preemptively go strike other countries, to distract from things like the Epstein files, and to distract from the high cost of living, and to distract from the high cost of energy, to distract from the high cost of everything. It's not a wise move. And when your Congress capitulates and just says, well, I guess we're going to war, I guess our president's just going to throw the Navy and the military anywhere he wants. Like, again, when Congress is just like, meh, I don't care. I get paid a salary. Like, I get paid no matter what. Like, government closes down, I still get paid. DHS isn't funded, I still get paid. Like, when you have this system, guys, you're incentivizing all the wrong things, and it's too bad. So, okay, Christian Widemed 852, making oil, extracting oil. Yeah, I know. Sorry, I talk a lot. I can use words incorrectly. You guys just got to kind of read through it. Okay, this is Roxy is God 2725. Oil. Excuse me. No. Oil, you can't transport your well-made goods in exchange for money, which is exchange for oil. That is gas. You could afford a car and enjoy yourself going on a weekend. Okay, you're saying a lot there, Roxy. Let's see. Let's read it one more time. No, oil, you can't transport your well-made goods in exchange for money, which is exchange for oil. That is gas, so you could afford a car and enjoy yourself going. Okay, again, you're saying a lot there. I'm not quite sure exactly what you're saying there. Something about basically exchanging oil for dollars that you can then turn into gas, so you can then go on an affordable vacation, or affordable weekend, excuse me. I'm not sure. Keep going, Roxy. I'll try and get it. Again, remember, I didn't graduate high school, so Titan Brew, COVID necessary. COVID was certified inevitable, and there will surely be worse pandemics in the future. Yes, this is exactly how I look at it. And this is one of the things that I think that may have really hurt this country from the way that we look at mental things, the way that we look at scaring people, the way we looked at propaganda. COVID was a novel virus. And again, anytime a novel virus affects you, it's going to affect a lot of people differently, but it's also going to affect a lot of people the same, right? So if you're very unhealthy, you don't take care of yourself, you're old, you're going to be susceptible to things no matter what. And that's not a dig against old people, unhealthy people. It's just reality, right? And what Titan's saying there about, COVID was inevitable, and guess what? There's going to be more viruses, right? So the mentality side of it is, again, I'm one of these guys, when COVID came in, I was like, man, this is going to kill a shit ton of people, but I don't give a fuck. I got to go to work. I got to go pay the rent. And guess what? I work around table saws all day long. I breathe dust all day long. I breathe lacquer paint all day long. I'm around noisy environments. I've been sick my entire life at one point or another. I don't care. I'm going to work. You had a whole a whole cadre of educated people. And again, it was all educated people, guys. All the experts. They all were like, nope, we're staying home. We're going to make sure that it's safe to go back out in the world. All you wages and all you guys that whatever stripe roads, that pick up trash, that make food, that deliver food, all you fucking people are going to work. And you're going to support me at home. And oh yeah, you're going to fix my house too. So all you carpenters, get your fucking ass to work. You're essential. But all the salary people, all the executives, all the teachers, all the people that could have went to work and pushed back against all this shit. Your president, Donald Trump, his first instinct was to push back on it also, but he gave way to the experts. He gave in to people like Fauci. He gave in to the people that were head of the teachers union. I forget her name. He capitulated to all these people, and we created a generation of people that are weak and that are basically saying to the younger generations, like, nope, stay home, listen to the experts, don't go to work, take the printed money, don't pay your rent, don't pay your student loans, just take all the free shit. And then when it's safe, your experts and your government will tell you when, okay? We did that, and I think that's what fucked this country up more than anything. Instead of people saying, you know what, go fuck yourself, I'm an American, you can't tell me I can't run my business. You can't tell me I can't go to work. All you people that want to stay home, get your asses to work. Oh, federal government, you guys want to collect a paycheck? Get to work. All you teachers, you want to collect a paycheck? Get to work. Because what you're saying to the younger generation is that you need to trust the experts. Trusting the experts, I think, is what ruined this country. I think it's why people like this stream. Again, dumb guy, never went to college, never finished high school, figured out how to get really good at making furniture, turning it into a business. We're able to employ a bunch of people. Now a bunch of people rely on me. You think for a second that I was going to tell my people, no, you can't come to work, it's not safe? I don't have that I don't have that fiber in my being. I don't have it in me. So I think when we did that, we really changed the psychology and the mentality of this country in a real nasty way, printed a ton of money to do it, and convinced everyone that experts were, I mean, you still got people today, guys, you see them all the time. They're in their car, they got a mask on. Like you see people, you go to Trader Joe's or you go to these crunchy places like Starbucks. Again, you always find an employee that's still got a mask on. Like these people, like the brain rot that we still have in this country today started with COVID. And I think that, anyway, I don't want to go on about it. It's just, we've got to teach people that no, you take adversity, you take problems, and you face them head on. You face them head on. You show people to not be afraid. And we did the exact opposite. And I think it's just a massive mistake. And hopefully we'll learn from it. And like Titan's saying, when the next pandemic happens, and it will, we'll make better choices. We'll do different things. You know, we'll find out that the propaganda that was on news, you guys remember the death meter, the death counters, these kind of things, like that shit is not helpful, guys. The hysteria that the media propped up to sell advertising, by the way, for drug companies, which are now the #1 advertisers on all cable media, right? Hopefully we'll learn from that mistake because it's going to happen again. So, and again, I'll treat it the same way. I hope you guys will treat it the same way as before. Like, no, I'm going to work. My people need to get paid. Go fuck yourself. So, all right, let's see where I'm at in the chat. Holy hell, guys, I am way behind. All right, we're going to catch back up. Again, you guys want your comment read right away, hit the like button, send gifts and send super chats, read the stuff right away. Okay, we've got JF. See, I'm going to go to 120 minutes, guys, and then I'm going to get out of here. All right, JFGWD3F. Is it true about growing one's own food? Trump is not my fault. Is it true about growing one's? I think growing food's great. Like growing up, I had a garden, right? Growing up, we had a big garden. We grew, I mean, all kinds of things. We had cows. I grew up literally on a Christmas tree farm, which is kind of interesting. But we also had a wood shop, you know. So you can be pretty self-sufficient. I'm being completely honest. It's very difficult to do, though, when you manufacture everything in the third world. Very difficult to be self-sufficient. And again, when you manufacture everything in the third world, it changes how your society works. And then suddenly it's okay to live in an apartment. It's okay to have a nice, you know, set of shopping right down the road. It's nice to have a nice park you can go to. You got all the bars right there. You got the dog park over there. It changes how your country works. And I don't know if that's a good thing, guys, but when you make everything here in America, again, it changes the kind of environment you want to live in. Suddenly you want a garage, right? A place where you can actually make some shit. Suddenly you want things like bench grinders and metal shears, and you want to, you know, ohm meters. Like you need things that actually allow you to fix things. And our country's in an interesting point. Yeah, I think more people should have gardens. More people should learn how to grow things. I think it's a fantastic thing. So, all right, Optimus K, I work at a video game studio startup, 10 people. We've employed this kind of work ethic you're describing, and we are a machine. That's fantastic. Optimus K, I'm very curious what it is you do. I think video game startups would be a very difficult business to be in today. I don't know if video games are what they used to be. Like I said, I grew up as a gamer. You know, I grew up playing StarCraft and Counter-Strike, and then moved on to, you know, whatever the, you know, Left 4 Dead, and I love video games. I still play StarCraft all the time. I still play Diablo all the time. But yeah, it's very interesting there. So video games are still a thing. Like it's clearly still a big business. So that's really cool. I mean, I remember going to the video rental store, right? You'd go to the video rental store and you'd rent Super Nintendo games and Nintendo games, you know, playing Contra. Goddamn, like 90s were awesome. God, the 90s were good, guys. But Optimus, yeah, it's very cool, man. I'm glad that what I'm saying resonates with you. You can pay your people well. You can take care of people. You can create a good environment for them to work at. And again, when people tell you, you know, you got to hire gay people, you got to hire women, you got to hire, you know, black people, you got to hire white people, you got to hire, you know, some kind of an ethnicity. I hope your employer is one of those guys that says no. I'll hire people that will work within my culture, right? And if it's a black person, great. If it's a woman, great. If they fuck with my culture, they're gone. I don't care what, you know, group they're in. So, all right, Ashton Trox, because if you don't try to act like you don't play a part. Because if you did not try to act like you did play a part. Ashton, I'm not sure what you're saying there. I want to know. Okay, why are you bragging about your business being soulless? Okay, again, most of my employees have worked with me forever. Like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. When people say these kind of things, like, I think they're just talking out of their ass. Like, they don't know. Again, My business is 10 years old. The average person's worked there 5 years, okay? I've got people that were in this business before I even got into it. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, I don't know what you guys even, like, what do you guys think a great business is? What, like, it's like Google where we all just work on laptops all day and we got bouncy balls and slides and, we go into the espresso cafe. You guys think that's a real business? Like, that's not a real business, guys. I hate to tell you this. That's all fake. That's all, old Twitter, old Google. Like, again, that stuff, it's not a real business. Okay, all right, Titan Bruce says, when Trump ignores court orders and negates the role of Congress, we no longer have a form of democracy called a constitution. Yeah, and that's, again, Titan, you're saying exactly what I was saying. Like, it just doesn't seem like we're supposed to argue. Things are supposed to take a long time, and Trump thinks that he knows how the world should work, and that if he could just do the things that he wants to do, it's going to be better for everybody, not just America, but everybody. And that is the definition of a megalomaniac, right? Like, we all have those thoughts. Like, God, I know how everything would be better if everyone just did things Eric's way. And the truth is that I don't have the power to do that. I can affect this one little, macro part of my world or micro part of my world. Trump can literally control everything, and he's literally trying to change it into what he thinks it needs to be. And it's megalomania, and our Congress isn't pushing back. Our Supreme Court pushes back, but it takes just too damn long, and Congress is solving no problems. The executive branch is solving no problems. These guys are doing nothing that helps you guys. Trump started off doing some good things, getting the cost of gas down is a real thing that helps everybody. When you reduce the cost of gas, guess what? The price of everything goes down. It's fantastic, right? We're not making more power stations, guys. Like, we've been promoting solar panels and wind farms, which are good and will have a place to play. Don't get me wrong. And you have to do it in order to advance the technology. I get all that kind of stuff, but you don't do that at the expense of everyone else's energy. Like, again, Trump just finally said, "Oh my God, we're going to make sure the AI companies produce their own power because Americans are paying for it with higher energy prices." Like, motherfucker, we knew that 4 years ago. They've already built the AI places. They've already been stealing the power, for 4 or 5 years at this point. Now you want to tell us something that we already knew? This is another example of your government not working in your interest. Again, the AI centers, they're already entrenched, guys. Yes, they're building more of them, but the bulk of them are already built, okay? The fact that these guys have to build power stations, how is it that an AI company that wants to put in data centers can build their own power stations, but you can't put your own power station in your city? Your state has trouble making power stations, right? Like, why is it that, again, business can do everything, but the average citizen gets nothing, right? The influence goes to the politician, but the influence is supposed to be with the people. Like, the executive is supposed to work in the interest of the country. The executive is working in the interest of foreign countries, is working in the interest of all different kinds of people, not necessarily the American people. It's really wild. We live in interesting times, guys. Virus 1244, Ashton, voting for anyone is a failed mission. Well, voting is all we got, dude. Ashton Trucks, the fuck is that supposed to mean? I don't know what that means, Ashton, so keep going, dude. Titan, after 9/11, President George W. Bush enjoyed an approval rate of 88%. Yep, shortly after, it didn't last long. Yeah, and again, I've never seen our country so galvanized as I did during 9/11. Again, I'm literally sitting there learning how to play Creed songs on my acoustic guitar at my girlfriend's apartment when that stuff came on. I literally thought it was CGI from a movie. I'm sitting there trying to play Higher. I don't know what the hell I was trying to play. But see that kind of stuff, I didn't believe it was real. And then when we saw the second one, and then you're going from channel to channel to channel and realizing that, oh shit, this is real. Like, I literally went and got my girlfriend out of bed. I'm like, well, look at this. This is crazy. And again, the country stopped and became a massive patriotic single unit that was going for death. That's literally what happened. I've never seen it. I wasn't alive during World War II when Pearl Harbor happened. Like, I don't know when we've had another situation like that. I don't know if that was a false flag. I don't know if the CIA was involved. I don't know if Jeffrey Epstein was involved. Like, I have no idea. But I do know what a galvanized country looks like, and what we have going on today, it's all fake. There's no way this country is behind this Iranian conflict because, again, prior to Trump being in office, no one gave a fuck about Iran. And again, Iran hasn't bombed this country. Iran hasn't done anything other than fuck with the state of Israel. And again, Israel's fucked with everybody in the Middle East, if you guys haven't noticed. But for some reason, Iran's now the problem. So yeah, what's going on today, your president is not acting in your interest. Your Congress is not acting in your interest, right? These people, the American people, do not want this conflict. And again, personally, I don't care. Like, you want to go destroy Iran, great. But you got to get my house prices down. You got to get my gas prices down. You got to get my electricity prices down. You got to get my insurance down. You got to make steaks not be $30 a piece, right? You got to get you guys ever seen the protective cases that they put around steaks and stuff now because people are ripping them off? Like, you got to bring back law and order, right? When people come across the third world, you got to kick them back out, right? You got to not incentivize coming here. And the way you incentivize not coming to America is by dragging these motherfuckers' kids out of their schools and kicking them out of the country, by grabbing their wives out of their homes, kicking them out of this country, by grabbing the people off the job site, throwing them out of this country. And you have to make it very obvious that you do not come here unless you're invited. And if you do, it's going to be bad for you. Unless you want to give them all amnesty. And again, I'm okay with that. You want to pass amnesty? Well, guess what, Congress? You got to get to fucking work. Otherwise, Donald Trump, you need to enforce the law. Like, this is what these people do. Like, the executive branch enforces the law. And if the executive branch isn't enforcing the law on the books, then why do we have one? If Congress isn't going to change the laws because the laws don't work, or make new laws because we need, different laws, then they need to do their job. But none of these people are doing their jobs, right? Right now, we're just going to war, and Congress is on board, the executive is on board, and the propaganda on the internet is on board. But I don't know anybody that's on board with this conflict. So, and again, when we talk to people on the internet, people don't seem to be on board with this shit, So I don't know, man. But Titan Brew, it's what you're saying about Bush's approval rating being damn near 90%. It was wild. I mean, patriotism was at an all-time high. You'd never seen so much American patriotism. But yeah, it didn't last long. And again, when you're trying to nation building doesn't work. And Trump's saying, "Oh, well, I'm gonna be like George Bush. I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna, they're gonna fuck around and find out, but I'm not gonna nation build. Oh, I am gonna go out in Venezuela. I'm gonna snatch leaders out, but we're not gonna nation build." So Trump thinks as long as he doesn't nation build, he can go do whatever he wants, right? It's the definition of megalomania, right? He's going to make the world into what he believes will fix it, and he has the power to do it. And we're all capitulating, which is rough. Okay, let's see. Truth National Uncensored. Trump the GOAT. Okay, quit whining. Okay, well, I voted for Trump. I like Trump. Again, on a personal level, I think the guy's hilarious and wildly successful. And what I like about Trump is Trump has tried all kinds of different businesses. He's tried to put his name on everything. He's done, he's done the media things. He's done the Trump steaks, Trump hotels. See, Trump had a furniture business. If you guys don't know this, he did Trump Home. I mean, Trump has done all kinds of things. And again, you got to admire the guy that can fail and fail and fail and fail, stacks up a couple of wins, becomes a billionaire. Like, you got to, the consistency of this guy and the ability to get up and do it again should be studied. It should be something that people like really aspire to be like, because that's what it's all about, guys. Anything in life, it's all about consistency. You want to win, be consistent. And again, do something for a year, do something for 10 years, and see what happens. So, okay, let's see, JFGW D3F. We need another constitutional convention. 17th Amendment would be rescinded. House of Representatives should be the only political party of the government. Original 13th Amendment should have been okay. And again, I don't know all the amendments, like, I'm a normie dude, man. I don't study politics. I don't study the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. I don't study any of that shit. I'm a gun owner, and I think that free speech should be absolute. I'm a free speech absolutist. I don't care if you want to use slurs, you want to use the dirtiest, nastiest language out there. I don't care. You protect it because it's the most important thing, I believe, to a society. So, again, I'm not sure what your amendments are there, but a constitutional convention, man, like, it would be nice if we could do some of that stuff, but again, your Congress doesn't work for you guys. Like, your Congress is just collecting checks from donors, the biggest one being AIPAC, and collecting the salary. Like, if the government shuts down, Congress still gets paid. You guys don't get paid if you work for the government. I don't know. We need to make some major changes, that's for sure. Okay, let's see. Truth National Uncensored. Nobody going to war. Okay, nobody going to war. Okay, well, and again, this is another one of the things, like, they're trying to change the language, right? This is something that academia did for a long time. Now if you guys go on the internet, you're seeing that this isn't a war, right? This is a conflict, right? Or maybe they're gonna call it an incursion, right? So let me ask you guys this question. And Truth National, I'll throw this at you. What would you guys do if Iran came over here with their Navy and started throwing missiles at us? Would you guys say we gotta end this conflict? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, the amount of naivete that is out there is just insane. Like, again, you gotta put the shoe on the other foot, man. Like, you can't just listen to the propaganda and push the. Again, it's okay. Like, go to war. Like, okay, Donald Trump is going to war. Like, fine. What would you guys consider? Like, what did we consider it what would we consider it if, again, Russia invaded our country and started bombing us? Would we consider that an incursion? Like, oh my God, would we call it somebody else's proxies? Would we use all the proxy language? I think we don't treat it the same as we would treat if it was us, and I think that's where the hypocrisy lies. That's where the illusion lies, and people are buying it, which I don't understand. Okay, Moot 9180, Jesus will save us. Man, I sure hope so. Okay, stay educated, my boy. Okay, cool. Truth Nation, again, I appreciate being here, dude. And again, anyone that comes in here and goes to multiple streams and adds the conversation, hits the like button, your opinion will always be entertained. We'll always go back and forth. So, all right, SW Explorer, Trump 28. All right, cool, dude. Raja 050, I don't care about Iran, USA, Israel. All those countries are lost. USA insurance isn't good. Europe, living best life. Well, again, you said a lot there. I don't give a fuck about the Middle East either. I don't care about any of those countries. They all want to bomb themselves into oblivion. They want to fight over religious things. Great. Have at it. Just don't use my weapons. Don't use my tax dollars. The other thing is like Europe, again, places like Israel, they have universal health care. Places like Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, these guys have just shit tons of money, and they're all monarchies. So again, why are we over there protecting these? These are not democracies. These are not places that are like America. They're vastly different, right? They get things that we don't get here in America, yet we pay for all of it. Take on Europe, okay? Europe, universal health care. I think you guys have universal education, if I'm not mistaken. But you guys don't do any defending, right? You guys have NATO, and America essentially keeps the real world out of Europe, okay? It's like we had to go liberate you guys during World War II. We gave you a mechanism called NATO, which protected you from Russia, of all things, during the Cold War. And like, that's great and all. We gave Israel its own country, and that's fine and all. But we have paid for everything. We paid for the rebuilding of Europe. We've paid to protect all the waterways. We've paid to protect globalization. And we've paid for a lot of things that a lot of countries' defenses. And again, these countries, they get to have universal health care. They get to have universal education. They get to live a much more laissez-faire kind of life, to use a French term. We don't get that here in America. We get to pay for all of it. We have $38 trillion in debt. We love to go to war. We have the largest military the world has ever known. And for what? So that everyone else can live off of America's greatness? It seems like we're just paying for everything. We're not getting the benefits, So that's kind of how I see it, man. I just, I don't know. Europe's living their best life on the American military's back. So it would be nice if Europe would start paying for its own defense. If Europe would grow some balls and go over and deal with Russia the way that they claim to want to deal with Russia. Or maybe Europe shouldn't buy gas and all of its energy from Europe while it allows NATO to encroach on Russia's borders. So Europe's got a lot to answer for. Europe needs to do a lot more to protect itself and to exert its might within its own region, and stop relying on America to do it. Same thing with the Middle East. Like, stop relying on America to protect all you people. Guys, take care. Says we got shit to deal with here in America. So, Virus 1244, truce. You're not educated. All right, now the Kurds are going to fight. And again, I don't care about Kurds. I don't care about the Sunnis. I don't care about the Shiites. I don't give a fuck about any of those people. Shut the fuck up. Okay, Virus. Well, okay, you guys got some kind of thing going on there. Laguera 187. Laguera. Okay, 187. Some people didn't need to go to work. Millions of PPE money for free. And again, PPE money. And again, I know this because I'm a business owner. I got PPE money. PPE money was literally written into the CARES Act? I remember exactly what act. I think it was the CARES Act. Was literally written into law to be forgiven. Okay, now you can argue with it and call it free money. You can say whatever you want about it, but it was literally written into Congress, or into the bill, to be forgiven. Okay, so again, lobby your Congress people and talk to your Congress people, because that's what was literally written to happen. A lot of people like to use the argument of, well, college should be free. This other thing should be free. None of those things were. There's a lot of things you could have done other than give people free money. But the truth is that most people love being home, doing nothing, getting lots of free shit. And that's not how America works. That's not what we want to promote here in America. We want to promote working hard and getting something for working hard, being creative, being innovative, being rewarded for those things. And a lot of people don't want that, so All right, to the national, he's president too. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go to the last. We're gonna go to. Let's do a couple more minutes of comments. Holy shit, guys, you guys are also. Okay, yeah, I'm back. Sorry, dude. People are starting to call me. The day is starting. Normally, I do my stream super early, but I'm doing it a little bit later, and so people are starting to call. I'm starting to get phone calls. So let's do a few more minutes of messages here and comments, and we'll end the stream for the day. So, all right, Titan Bruce says, okay, you told me you lost audio. Okay, I'm back. I appreciate Titan. Okay, let's try somebody new here. This is Jeppert. This is Jeppert 1969. Trump increased the debt by 10 trillion. Clinton balanced the budget and left with a surplus. Yes, 100%, man. Again, more people need to hold their politicians accountable. Trump was supposed to balance the budget at one point. Trump was supposed to bring more wealth into America, bring wages up, get the cost of living down, get more homes going. Trump promised everything, delivered nothing. Trump initially did not want to close the economy down for COVID, and had he stuck to his guns, we probably would have spent all that money. But it seems to me like every politician that comes into politics, every president that gets elected president since Bill Clinton's time, Newt Gingrich, Bill Clinton, since then has increased the budget. Once they realized that they could print money and the taxpayer would be fine with it, they could run these massive deficits and buy votes, and the taxpayers would be okay with it, they all just started escalating how much they spent. And it started, I believe it started under Obama, if I'm not mistaken. I think Obama was the first time we had a $1 trillion deficit. Again, I don't know, maybe someone here in the chat knows exactly, but I think it started with Obama, where it really started to escalate, and it's literally just, it's a hockey stick at this point, and nobody wants to curb the spending, because truth is, guys, like, are you going to take less in welfare? Is my business going to take less in tax cuts? Are you guys going to take less in Social Security? Are you going to take less in Medicare? Are you going to take less in Medicaid? Are corporations going to take less in corporate tax cuts? Are we going to reduce OSHA? Are we going to reduce EPA? Are we going to reduce the Department of Education? Are we going to reduce anything? And the answer is no, because nobody is willing to say, you know what? Give me my money back. I will deal with my money and thus balance the budget. Nobody's willing to do it because everybody wants something. Everyone is electing politicians that are promising them shit. You know, John Kennedy had that famous quote, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Here's what you guys can do for your country. Stop fucking taking money, okay? Give it to the states. Give it back to the taxpayers. The federal government is out of control, guys. And again, until you guys are willing to take less of something, all you're gonna do is blame. No, he needs to take less. She needs to take less. That company needs to take less. That fucking Section 8 guy needs to take less. The old people need to take less. It's always somebody else instead of everyone saying, you know what, we are gonna take less. And again, I've got no problems doing it. I'm happy to pay more in taxes if you guys can take less in benefits. So again, I think wealthy people could probably pay a lot more in taxes, but why? Why would wealthy people give the federal government more money? They just fucking waste it. They absolutely waste it. They use it to buy votes for people that I don't agree with, for doing things I don't agree with. Like, again, it doesn't make any sense. And if we continue to push this idea that the poor need money, right? We need more unions. We need more, everybody else fixing everything. It's like, no, you guys got to fix it. At some point, we got to be willing to do it for ourselves. And until we're able to do that, nothing's going to get fixed. It's just going to continue to be an escalation in printing money, massive federal debts until you can't pay the federal debt, guys, until you can't pay the interest. You guys know that the largest line item next year on the budget is going to be interest. It's not even going to be military. It's going to be interest. Trump's trying to raise the interest, right? Raise the budget for the military so the interest will not be the number one item. But again, nobody cares because everyone's in debt. Why the fuck would you care that your country is $38 trillion in debt, paying $1 trillion in interest every year? If you're $30,000 in debt, paying $1,000 in interest every year, $10,000 a year in interest every year. Again, it's insane, guys. What's going on? I don't know how we fix it. Turbid used. You could do lots of things, but we would rather create the most extreme levels of wealth for a large layer of American society. Okay, good. And dude, you're just perpetuating what I'm telling you. You're blaming the rich people. Again, I'll blame the poor people. Like, I'll blame the old people. I can blame all kinds of people. But again, the goal of America, guys, and we got to get back to this, and this is one of the reasons you need tariffs. And again, people don't disagree when I say this, but the goal of America is everybody, your only job as an American citizen is to provide a good or service for somebody else. That's it. And if you don't do one of those things, right, or if you haven't done those things for 30, 40, or 50 years, you're not contributing to this country. You're not doing what you are obligated to do. And I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, that's just how I see it. Like, you have to do these things. If you don't do these things, you are a parasite, right? You are a drain on the system. So let's get more people paid into the system, helping the system out, and give less to the people that are sucking it and being succubuses and drains and leeches and parasites, and keep them back to working, you know? But again, when you can outsource to the third world, why would anyone hire you? You're expensive, you bitch, you whine, you care about regulations, you want a clean work environment, you want a safe work environment. Like, I'll just bring the third worlder in here. I'll just send your job to the third world. Like, again, like, why the fuck would anybody deal with you guys? And again, until we change these things, it's never going to change. The rich are always going to get their carve-outs, right, for tax reasons. And again, they're happy to pay the people that are on welfare because, again, they don't want to fucking hire these people. They're worthless. They don't know anything. They're generationally poor. They don't talk right. They don't look right. They don't smell right. They don't do anything right. And no one's going to teach them. They'll just let them be in poverty forever. And I guess the amount of people in poverty and the elevation of what poverty is getting higher every year. And more people are going to be on it until eventually all you guys are going to be on fucking UBI. You're all going to be on UBI. And the businesses are going to own everything. And again, they'll bring the third world in to do the work. They'll outsource all the work to the third world. And then guess what? Robots. When robots come in, y'all are just so fucked. It's not even funny. But yeah, like I said, tariffs fix a lot of these problems. And again, people can disagree with me all they want. But again, you guys are being played against each other constantly. You know, because again, you can't stop taking. Like, and again, the government will take everything you'll give them, all the power that you give them, all the tax money that you give them. Every time they tell you you're fucking the rich guy over because you're poor, or the rich person is going to fuck you over because they're rich, you're just being, you're literally part of the problem. So, all right, last couple of comments, guys. I'm gonna get out of here. I appreciate everyone in the feed today. Again, as an Normie dude, works every day. I love talking to you guys. I love getting the back and forth with people on real issues, on real things, from real people. What I see in the chat and what I see here on YouTube is not what we're seeing on X. It's not what we're seeing on cable news. It's not what we're seeing out in the real world. People that talk about, you know, anti-Semitism and Jews and all, like, I work with Jews all the time. I've never seen a Jew that, you know, acts the way that the media says that they act, that the way that the, you know, news says that they act. We're getting a lot of propaganda today, and we're being told a lot of things that I don't think are true. We got a lot of good people in this country. This country has a lot of potential, but if we don't all get on the same page, guys, like, we're in a lot of trouble. So, okay, Titan Bruce says, no caps. Okay, let's see. Jim says, I'm great, buddy. You scared, Dwayne, and it shows. Yeah, you're real gay. Okay, good. I'm real gay. Optimus K back in here. Okay, you're really well spoken. Subbed, but okay, I don't know that I'm well spoken. I just talk fast. I just talk a lot, so I think that's why I'm decent at talking. Okay, Jameson, Ryan, 3009. True, these takers and finger pointers are the problem. Again, D20, you should get a tattoo on your face. And okay, let me say one more thing real quick, guys. So, why can't, and again, we're at the very end of the chat. I want you guys to put this in the chat real quick. I want to know, why can't everyone just agree to take less? Okay, and that means no corporate tax breaks, no cuts on capital gains, right? But also, it means no more Section 8, no more food stamps, no more Medicaid, right? Again, old people that pay in their taxes, if you paid in, I think we should probably take care of those people. You want Social Security? Social Security doesn't work anymore. So again, are you guys going to take less in Social Security? When are people going to all agree to take less? And how do we do that? And again, when you take less, guess what? The money goes back to you guys. It doesn't go back to the government, doesn't go to the businesses, doesn't go to the old people, doesn't go to Medicare, Social Security, any of that stuff. It goes back to you, and then you decide how you want to spend your money. Why can't we all agree to take less so that we can have more? Like, let's see what we got here. Scared Truth, Super Elliptic, that's bullshit, dude. Okay, because of the Jews, are we gay detected? The Jews don't want that. Again, you guys are blaming everybody else. You're saying everybody else. Again, why can't you take less? Okay, Bald Eagle, it would never work. Okay, again, why? Why can't you take less, right? Why can't you take less Social Security, less Medicaid, less Section 8, maybe less military, right? What are the other big budget items? Why can't you take less federal government? Why can't you take less paying for NGOs? Why can't you take less money going to the federal government for the IRS? Why can't you take less money for all these things? Why can't you guys take less of stuff so that you can get more of your money back? Never works. Oh, okay, because the FTC won't Because the FCC went back by bank. Okay, guess he left another poser, dude. Okay, in 2 words, greed and laziness. Okay, okay, all right, well, cool, guys. So we're not going to get many comments in here. Again, I appreciate it. I don't have connections in the government. Okay, good. Well, you guys can vote for stuff. You can push for this stuff. Again, conversations like this on places like X, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram, all these kind of things really do help. The government sees this kind of stuff, but again, I don't know how you get people to take less. It's just Titan Bruce says money back and more of our freedoms back. That's kind of how I see it, man. Like, people just got to take less. You got to take less, which means when I say take less, it means you're taking less from other people. You get to keep your labor. You get to keep the money that you make for providing a good or service to somebody else, and then you decide how to spend that money, right? But when you make that when you let somebody else make that decision for you guys, you get less of everything. And again, the people that are connected, the people that have the voice, right? The poor people, the old people, you have less of everything. Sucks. So anyway, you guys have a great weekend. I appreciate everyone hanging out this morning. And I'm going to get out of here. I got to call my mom because she's bugging me. I got to go up and say hi to my wife because she's probably done drinking coffee. And I got to get off and go work on this desk. We got beautiful weather here in St. Louis. And I hope you guys have a fantastic week. And we'll do it again tomorrow. So have a good one.